Every time I eat, I have to bury my food in the ground. Even your feet will be buried together. But moments later, when I dug through the soil, the food inside was completely reduced to ashes, and my hunger had disappeared. It turns out I am a tree demon disguised as a human. I thought I could quietly develop in a human sect, until one day, senior brother Liu Changsho suddenly led his junior brothers to the scripture pavilion, all to find information on Yinsho's medicinal herbs, just as I was guessing which sect senior was nearing the end of his life. But Liu Changsho suddenly looked at me. A disciple suddenly raised the great wilderness gold and spoke. This record contains the method of strict longevity. The other disciples hurriedly gathered around. Only I felt a jolt in my heart. Take a deep breath. Stay calm. The disciple muttered in public. Great wilderness gold records. In the great wilderness, there is the tree of longevity. Eating it can grant immortality. Classical Chinese. I was even more afraid. He was about to stay away from this group, but Liu Changsho suddenly spoke up. No need to look further. The great wilderness is perilous and perilous. Don't even mention our Lingshu cave heaven. Even the top sects dared not venture lightly. Let's go. Go ask somewhere else. I watched them leave. He quietly breathed a sigh of relief. He quickly placed the large gold at the bottom. After praying, no one paid attention. I am the immortality technique recorded in the book. Back when he was born, only the ability to transform into human form. It happened to coincide with Lingshu Dongtian recruiting disciples. I, who dared not wander around, was lucky enough to be selected, but she never remembered. But my spiritual root aptitude is very poor. It took him more than 10 years to reach the late second level, so he was sent to the library to organize books. But even more dangerous things were yet to come, though I can live forever. But as it grows, the demonic aura on his body was becoming increasingly difficult to control. Once discovered by human modification, you'll definitely devour me completely. Right now, he had to improve his cultivation to conceal the evil aura. Just when I was at a loss, but a single note brought me a major turning point. That day, as usual, I recorded the papers sent by each disciple. Someone found some medicinal herbs. What functions do the herbs have? But when I opened the 10th page, the content inside left me completely stunned. Rong Shujing killed passers-by. Flesh and blood as nourishment. Later, it also recorded his methods for refining flesh and blood and cultivation. I instantly fell into deep thought. Did I take the wrong path from the start? Plants need fertilizer to thrive. Is my own tree-like trunk the same? Previously, I trained by learning from the human race and training with Earth natives, but for some reason, his progress in cultivation was very slow. I only memorized the method for refining flesh and blood. He did not cultivate immediately. I still can't get any nourishment. It can only be next month. The sect distributes cultivation resources every month. I only have one Xiaopin refining egg in my hand. By evening, I decided to try the dragon tree spirit's cultivation method first. As strands of spiritual energy entered his body, I opened my eyes excitedly. It was actually twice as fast as the sect's Lingshu Xianbo. So demons still need to practice demon cultivation techniques. I was just about to continue cultivating, but unexpectedly, the next second, Jing suddenly stopped. A trace of demonic aura had appeared on him, and it is within the Dantian. The tree demon's power was completely devoured as soon as it encountered the Lingshu mysterious bow. Unless you spend your own martial arts skills, otherwise, it would be impossible to cultivate demon cultivation techniques at the same time. I lay in bed, thinking, paying for the Xianbo out of pocket is impossible. Getting covered in a demonic aura isn't quite right. So, early the next morning, I hurried to the library, just as I was buried in searching for a solution. But Liu Changsho suddenly came to me holding a book. Junior brother, this demon whisper can be mastered within 3 days. Why learn this? I thought senior brother had discovered my identity as a sorcerer demon. Unexpectedly, he gave a mysterious smile. In 3 days, I will take you to interrogate the demon cultivators. But you do have your advantages. I breathed a sigh of relief. He agreed immediately. As long as they weren't discovered, it was fine. But what surprised me was, I then just glanced at Secretary Yao Yu. Each word was deeply imprinted in his mind, as if it was always the same. On the 3rd day, senior brother took me to Lin Jianfeng's prison as promised. I was just brought into an interrogation room. He just tossed out a sentence. I'm leaving it to you. With that, he turned and left. There was only one senior brother in the forging lineage, Nai Chio. For some unknown reason, he was sent to be summoned for interrogation. He skillfully grabbed a leopard demon from the cell. The iron hook that refused to be released during the net torture was hooked. The intense pain instantly woke the leopard spirit. Just as he was about to roar, But what awaited him was a merciless lash. Nichio sneered. I advise you to settle down a bit. That way, I can save some effort. Senior brother Nai. He was begging for mercy. What did he say? He said, it just ate a few people. He never offended our Lingshu cave heaven. Soon, he was brought under criminal law. The leopard scripture revealed all his cultivation methods. I wrote it all down. Nichio nodded in satisfaction. Ask him again. Why did he harm people? The leopard scripture teacher answered. I translated it truthfully. I thought the leopard sutra would be released. Unexpectedly, Nichio was furious after hearing this. He cut down the leopard scripture with a single stroke. I hate these demon clans who harm people for no reason. He deserves to be refined by us. As one demon clan after another interrogated them, I found that no matter what kind of demon it is, in the end, they couldn't resist the temptation of flesh and blood. He has embarked on the path of harming others. In the end, they were all killed by Nichio with a single blow. Right now, I can barely protect myself. Naturally, there was no time for sympathy. He recorded all their cultivation methods. At the same time, question arose. Why has the sect suddenly become interested in demon clan cultivation methods? By midday break, Nichio happily invited me to dinner. With Yoyu translation, things really are much easier. I never understood it before, no matter how hard I tried. After lunch, Nichio did not interrogate the demon clan any further. Instead, he called me along to deal with the demon clan's corpse, collect everything that can be used as medicine. Even tough bones need to be put together. In the future, he could refine his chi and such. The remaining leftover scraps are mine. Nichio filled me with a big bucket of flesh and blood and handed it to me. Take it. Squatting down and eating. It does help you with chi refining strength. I was slightly flustered. So this was the benefit Lu Changsho had mentioned. I happened to be cultivating with proper nourishment. They kept busy until evening. I returned to the cabin with a bucket of flesh and blood. Even if it's just scraps. But the spiritual energy contained within was no less than that of a low-grade chi refining pill. I looked at the flesh and blood in the barrel. He slowly placed his right palm in. The next second, my right hand instantly turned into a maggot, and combined with the tree refinement flesh and blood transformation technique, frenziedly absorbing flesh and blood, simultaneously activating the Lingshu mystic bow, refine this pure spiritual power. Practicing the techniques of plants and trees generates demonic energy. Before finding a solution, he still had to cultivate the Lingshu mysterious bow. This eliminates the need to absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. Direct refining also speeds up my cultivation. As expected, demons still absorb flesh and blood to improve faster. And so, I started working as a translator, while holding flesh and blood to improve his cultivation, until my single shot of low-grade chi refining came down. After a night of cultivation, I successfully advanced to the third level of chi refining, although it barely suppressed the demonic energy. But the problem with the cultivation method was still unresolved. Little did they know, a tremendous opportunity is also waiting for me. July 1st, I just arrived at the prison. I saw a little green ox sneak a glance at me. Then he quickly closed his eyes. I was about to step forward and take a look. Nichio just smiled and said, "Junior brother, want to eat beef?" The disciple outside grabbed a cow's waist. With that, he dragged the little green ox out. But just as he was about to hang it on the iron hook, but I suddenly stopped him. "Senior brother, don't use awakening just yet." He was awake, just pretending to sleep. Unexpectedly, Nichio was startled when he heard this. Only after his body became fierce did he retreat. Little Azure Ox was also startled and opened its eyes. After seeing the punishment scene, the bull's eyes were full of fear. Even after taking the medicine, he was still awake. Could it be to support the great demon? Nichio was just about to speak. "You should ask him first." After speaking, I asked in the common language of the demon race, "Apply your practice method." And how did he awaken his intelligence and arrive as it truly was? But I do not know why. Little Qingyou stared at me in confusion. I couldn't help but frown. "Is it because you don't understand?" But who knew Nichio was strong and robust? But his gaze was icy cold. Could it be stubbornness? "Then I'll use torture." After speaking, he picked up the vine edge nearby. The little green ox was so frightened that it lay trembling on the ground, although it utters strange syllables. But what surprised me was that my expression suddenly changed after hearing this. "Senior brother, this is the ancient demonic language." He asked us why we arrested him. Actually, Qingyou asked one more question. Why do I sense a tranquil aura in me? I decisively ignored the question, but I do not know why. Nichio and Yang suddenly showed a look of shock and spaciousness. This was an ancient demon cub. Ancient demons inherit ancient bloodlines. The stronger the bloodline, the more terrifying the talent. Ask where his parents are. If your parents are here, he definitely had to return it respectfully. An adult GU demon. It's definitely not something our Lingshu Dongtian can provoke. Listen to my translation. Little Green Ox spoke in confusion. I never met my parents. Born in the mountains. Junior brother, you wait here. I'll go report it. After saying that, he hurriedly left. Once a parentless GU demon is properly cultivated, in the future, he will become a Demon King level Sect Guardian Divine Beast. Half of the lesson was after the middle and later hours. Nichio and the sect's White Jade Fist Elder arrived. The Elder looked at me and smiled slightly. Ask this Green Ox. You may wish to become my disciple. I immediately helped ask. However, little Qingniu was indeed stunned. For a moment, I didn't know how to respond. I spoke in ancient demonic language, trying to survive. It's best to agree to become a disciple. The elders will also guide you in cultivation, providing you with cultivation resources. Qingniu Wenyang nodded repeatedly. He bowed on the spot. The little demon is willing to pay respects to Master. Elder Bai nodded in satisfaction. All right. From now on, I will definitely train you to become a great demon king. I felt a bit envious. His background was no worse than that of the ancient demon. Forget it. If you find out I am the art of immortality, let alone apprenticeship, I bet she'd swallow me alive on the spot. However, this time it was not without gains. Elder Bai casually handed me a bottle of upper chi refining bomb. I'll take my disciple and leave first. With that, he led the little Green Ox away. One step went mad. Yes. I'm envious too. All of them unnecessary. How could the pay gap be so big? At night, I took a photo and got a piece of flesh and blood. However, when parting, Nichio reminded him, don't tell anyone about the high-grade chi refining manual. Thank you, senior brother, for the reminder. High-grade chi refining alone is a cultivation resource for disciples at the 7th level. Even Lu Changsho, at the 6th level of chi refining. Each month, it's just a mid-grade chi refining list. But unexpectedly, I just returned to the cabin. He discovered that Lu Changsho had been waiting for quite some time. I heard you discovered an ancient demon. Elder Bai has given you quite a few benefits, hasn't he? He thought I would keep the benefits for himself. Unexpectedly, I voluntarily offered the pill. Lu Changsho opened the medicine bottle. He saw that there were 10 pills missing by a single cut. You didn't even move. Thanks to senior brother, I learned demonic language. Only then did he have the chance to meet junior brother Nyo. I was worried about how to offer it to my senior brother. I pretended to answer respectfully. Classical Chinese. He nodded. Take out a porcelain bottle. I'm not giving you for free. Here's a bottle of mid-grade chi refining pills. Thank you, senior brother. Do your job well. Good things are coming soon. I will think of you. Lu Changsho finished speaking. He left satisfied. My current strength can only be developed in silence. The body is the art of longevity. The last thing I lack is time. At dawn, I finished refining the flesh and 2 mid-grade chi refining tablets. He successfully stepped into the 4th level of chi refining. Then, I carried the wooden bucket to the prison. Unexpectedly, the first thing Nianqiu said upon seeing me was I was completely stunned. Did Lu Changsho take your pill? With your status and strength, he couldn't keep the high-grade chi refining manual. Senior brother Lu was kind-hearted. He even gave me a bottle of mid-grade chi refining manual. He really is a good person. Even 10 mid-grade pearls can't compare to 1 high-grade one. But we people are born to be bullied. But what puzzled him was that I just smiled slightly. He said he didn't care about these high-grade chi refining bombs. Although I want to, but I understand better the importance of safety first. If you don't obediently hand over the pill, at the very least, he was fighting alone to steal the pills. If he gets injured during a fight and shows something unusual, that would be a dead end. Anyway, he had plenty of time to cultivate slowly. So I asked Nichio, senior brother, could you give me more flesh and blood today? Nichio was a bit surprised. Is this bucket not enough for you to eat? But to my surprise, I pointed at his strong muscles. Recently, I've been doing physical training. A large amount of flesh and blood is required. I want to be like you, senior brother. She has a perfect figure. Actually, I still have one thing I haven't said. I want to be a tree of immortality that no one can chew on. Nichio was very pleased with my praise. Junior brother, you have good taste. I've been getting a bit tired of it lately. All for you. Nichio also received a reward from the elders because of Little Green Bull. So he looked down on these flesh and blood. I quickly thanked him. By evening, I carried 2 big buckets back. This time, There was also a bucket of offal. The energy contained inside is far stronger than scraps. I immediately drew roots with both hands, smoked those 2 barrels at the same time. Waves of energy merged into his entire body, and in my mind, even a small emerald tree now has a hint of vitality. Until the flesh and blood were fully absorbed, body refining has officially entered the first level of chi refining. I pinched my own hard skin. It should be able to withstand attacks from the first layer of chi refining. But that was not enough. I decided to carry out body refinement to the end. As long as you are strong enough, no one can take advantage of me. That's it. He practiced peacefully for half a month. I have successfully stepped into the 5th level of chi refining. His body refinement had also reached the 2nd level of chi refining. I thought he could continue developing steadily, until one day, Lu Changsho suddenly found me. Junior brother, that green ox will come to learn the language from you. Is it that little green ox? That's right. After the elder took him away, the tattooed ox asked. They found language barriers and difficulty communicating. He originally wanted to find another disciple to teach him, but under my sharp sword, I decided you would teach. Thank you, senior brother. Junior brother, you should know what to do. The kindness of the senior brother is deeply remembered by the junior brother. I pretended to be grateful. Lu Changsho left once again, satisfied, but after Naichio learned of this, he spoke up excitedly. That's a good thing. That blue ox is now a treasure. His status was almost on par with Changchun, the sect leader's disciple of the invading tradition. He just has a somewhat irritable temper. The disciples who taught him the language were all injured. I was a bit surprised. Changchun is a genius who reached the 1st level of artifact refining in 7 days. Not long after, Niu Wendao was taken to prison by a senior sister. Senior sister arrogantly called me out. I had just respectfully finished my bow. Niu Wendao ran over and rubbed against me. However, I was somewhat speechless, afraid that the green ox would give me a bite. Unexpectedly, the senior sister saw this scene. His expression calmed down, and befriended junior brother Neo properly. I'll come by tonight. With that, he turned and left. Finally meeting you. Those people couldn't communicate. I want to eat peaches. Wait until I go back tonight. I'll tell senior sister to bring you peaches. As I spoke, I led her into the interrogation room. Unexpectedly, the first thing she said upon entering the door was, "It scared me out of its wits. Why do I feel a sense of closeness in you, but you can't feel it on others?" I don't know either. Maybe it's fate. I could only respond perfunctorily. He was a demon. No one can say for sure. I just want to stay away from this cow. He was the first to notice his own abnormality. Next, I will continue interrogating the demon clan. Niu Wendao asked curiously, seeing this. You record what these do for you. The sect ordered the record. They want these demon clan cultivation methods. I don't know what to do. Then why are you obedient? Is it because they can't beat the sect? Niu Wendao asked like an ignorant child. Seeing me nod, Niu Wendao continued speaking. Then why don't you run? Because it's dangerous outside. All kinds of demons and monsters, and the major cultivation sects. I thought to myself that everyone is a demon. Still, I couldn't help but speak more from the heart. Remember one thing. Whether in the human world or the demon world, he had to hide himself well. You possess the bloodline of the bone demon. Other demons will devour you to improve. And once the human world discovers it, when the demon he raised was out of control, they will also find ways to kill them. This world is dangerous. There really was a demon trying to eat me before. I run fast. Niu Wendao recalled his days of wandering, lingering fear, so he believed my words without a doubt. I comforted him, before he had enough strength. You have to learn to obey, make everyone feel more like a person. Then I need to learn human language quickly. I began to teach patiently. Niu Wendao's bloodline power was very strong. Learning is also very fast. When senior sister came over in the evening, Niu Wendao hurried forward and spoke human language. Hello, senior sister. Good junior brother. After speaking, he casually tossed me a top-grade pill. A reward for you. I'll bring junior brother Neo back tomorrow. Thank you, senior sister, for your generous gift. I'll accept the pill. Just return to his cabin. But unexpectedly, Lu Changsho was already waiting for me. I heard Niu Wendao gets along well with you. Yes. This is a gift from senior sister. I took out that pill. However, Lu Changsho was somewhat displeased. Why is there only one piece? Senior sister only bestowed one pill. Qian Yu's senior brother saw it too. He had just broken through to the 7th level of Qi refining. A single high-grade Qi refining pill was nowhere near enough to satisfy him. Lu Changsho took the pill with a cold face. just as he was about to turn and leave. Unexpectedly, I suddenly spoke up. Senior brother Changsho, could you grant me a mid-grade qi refining pill? Unexpectedly, Lu Changsho glanced at the flesh and blood I was carrying. Don't forget, today you were introduced by me. If it weren't for me, you're still moldy in the library. Tomorrow, I need to see at least 3 top-grade ones. I am grateful for the kindness bestowed by my senior brother. I tried to ask for it once. Who knows? That ox asks the way and gets close to you. Just let him speak. Now he is very favored. Senior brother, could you leave me one? You only deserve to eat this meat. I let out a soft sigh. This time, they really grabbed it directly. But he still suppressed his thoughts. The chapter does not digest flesh or blood. Starting physical training. I estimate 20 more servings of this kind of flesh and blood. Only then can you reach the 3rd level of body refining. I want to be a tree that no one can chew on. There is still a long way to go. The next day arrived. I arrived at the prison as usual. However, I didn't ask Niu Wendao for help. Instead, he went straight to Nichio. Senior brother Nai, I ran into some difficulties. I wonder if I could ask for your help. He asked Niu Wendao to help get the high-grade forging manual. This is a complete path to death. I don't want to challenge that master. Nichio had recently broken through to the 9th level of artifact refining. If he is willing to help, he would rather give him the high-grade artifact refining manual. Nor did it give Lu Changsho, unexpectedly, Nichio's next answer, but it left me utterly surprised. It must be about Lu Changsho. Why does senior brother Nai know so well? I heard he's been climbing the inner sect lately, and he only had 2 high-grade refining orders each month. We can only start with you. Nichio pondered for a moment. He spoke. There's still a vacant room over there. You can stay at my place tonight. Senior brother Nai, don't worry. The top quality practice sheet I got was just that. I will definitely show filial respect to my senior brother. But unexpectedly, Nichio burst out laughing. Keep 1 or 2 for yourself. Just give me a few extra pieces. I'm a person who cares about my reputation. After saying that, he went to deal with the demon clan's corpse. People who care about their reputation are good. People care about their dignity. Trees need bark. But Lu Changsho didn't understand. I clenched my fists in secret. At that moment, Niu Wendao suddenly ran over excitedly. You don't know. Yesterday, I went back and called out to Master. It really ruined that old man. You said to be obedient. Make them feel I can control it. After speaking, he spat out a magnetic bottle. The pill my senior sister gave me. I'll give you a bottle. I glanced over. It was actually a high-grade qi refining pill. The bull asked, what a great ox. But I refused without my bare hands. Take it. I have plenty of them. Yesterday, the master even gave me several bottles. Niu Wendao was completely indifferent to the pills. I couldn't help but sigh inwardly. Both are demons. Why is the gap so big? Watch me accept the pill. Niu Wendao was overjoyed. You're the only friend here. Although the master and others treated me very well, but there was always a sense of distance. Only you make me feel close. I'm not a mother. Pay attention to your words. You have to behave properly, even if he didn't want to be human. But in the human world, we must also learn how to be a good person. Niu Wendao nodded thoughtfully. I don't just teach him language. He also taught him how to live in the human world. After studying for a long time, Niu Wendao wandered around the prison. Unexpectedly, I learned that my pills had been stolen. When she came back, she couldn't help but ask me what I planned to do. I raised my sword. Of course I dodged. Together with senior brother Nai, Lu Changsho didn't dare come either. Niu Wendao looked puzzled. Is it because he can't beat Lu Changsho? No. I enjoy being kind to others. He doesn't like fighting or killing, even if they can win. He couldn't say it out loud either. Instead, he secretly turned him into a nourishment. The sin ball beside the ground responded with a response. If my junior brother is at the 7th level of qi refining, he could have directly taken action against Lu Changsho. Niu Wendao suddenly understood. He said in a pounding voice, you want to take this opportunity to teach me. Weak in strength but actually patient and patient. Strong and solid counterattack. I was speechless. I just want to practice in peace. How could this cow think that way? Thank you for your dedicated guidance. I will always remember to learn to bow my head when I was weak. His strength was enough to kill his entire family. Looking at Niu's serious expression, he asked, let me remind you that this beef kidney must know how to be patient and low-key. But how did he connect it to the idea of killing his whole family? By evening, I followed Nichio to his residence. As soon as he entered, he took out a pill. Senior brother. This pill was given by Niu Wendao. Agreed to split with senior brother. I myself do not know how to compose cursive script. You guy, I really don't know what to say about you. Nichio reluctantly took out 5 pills. Give me the remaining 5. I was just about to return to my room to cultivate. Unexpectedly, he suddenly took out 10 magnetic bottles. This is the Qi and Blood pill, very useful for body refinement. In our Qi refining sect, we all need to refine our bodies. Spiritual power alone is not enough. So he took the Qi and Blood pill to cultivate. So that's how it is. I thanked the doctor and put away the vial. I'm a person who cares about my reputation. I really can't do that guy's thing. I went back to my room to cultivate. After saying this, Nichio turned and went back to his room. I'll go back to my room too. Lock the door. He began taking pills to refine them. And what surprised me was, 1 Qi and Blood pill, the 6 portions of flesh and blood in the competing brush. Finally, after refining 3 more blood pills, I successfully reached the 3rd level of body refining. Then he refined the Qi refining pill. He broke through to the 6th level of Qi refining. But what surprised me even more was yet to come. The next day arrived. Niu Wendao saw him. I gave him 2 bottles of upper Qi refining bombs. At the same time, he spoke mysteriously in ancient demonic language. I want to see you turn the tables and kill Lu Changsho soon. I was left speechless. If you do it like this, even if I wasn't the one who killed him in the future, then I can't escape responsibility. Niu Wendao ignored my silence. Instead, he suddenly sighed. Why don't you come with me? Don't stay in this prison. I felt lonely up there. As a demon belonging to a human sect, you have to learn to be alone. Absolutely must not show it. The idea of returning to the demon clan world. This makes people think you can't be tamed. Niu Wendao broke out in a cold sweat from fear. He quickly nodded. He glanced at it and left. He couldn't afford to mess with Liuqiu. I felt relieved. Cultivate diligently. Body refining reached the 5th level. His cultivation had also reached the peak of Qi refining level 6. But just as I was about to break through the 7th floor, an unexpected guest suddenly arrived. Lu Changsho, what are you here for? Let us inform you. The martial gathering of the 3 meridians in half a month. I used to think about you whenever I had good things, but you betray me. The matter of waste talk. Others think prisons are dirty and don't want to come. Just leave it to junior brother. He met Niu Wendao and gained the benefits of opportunity. But you took all the benefits from your junior brother and took it all. Lu Changsho, you should have some dignity in life. Lu Changsho's face darkened, but he didn't dare lash out at Nichio. Hurry up and get lost. Just seeing you annoys me. Lu Changsho snorted coldly. I hope you will participate in the 3 veins battle. He can still be so stubborn. After saying that, he stopped and left. However, Nichio frowned and looked at me. The 3 veins converge in dance. It was the disciples of Lingshu Cave Heaven who looked down on him. You might be able to escape prison through this. Ruo Niu asked to help speak. Maybe he could even become an elder's disciple. However, Lu Changsho will definitely make things difficult for you. But something unexpected happened. I just smiled and said, so? I just don't go. Nichio was taken aback when he heard this. But Niu Wendao can't keep coming looking for you. The gap between you will only widen. In the end, you might not even be friends. Yet I remained calm and composed. It was just a fleeting fate. Impeaching friends. Nichio paused for a moment before he realized. That's true. It is precisely your indifferent personality. Niu Wendao will get close to you. Only then did Elder Bai allow you to be friends with Wendao. If you take the opportunity to climb up, the world has long since cleaned you up. I didn't respond. Instead, he changed the subject and asked, Senior brother wants to go to the 3 Veins Dance Festival. Jump out of prison. Nichio spoke calmly. Of course. I have already reached the 9th level of Qi refining. As long as he could rank among the top 10 in his lineage, you can get a support single. Expected to provide support. Senior brother, your talent isn't bad either. How could he end up in prison? However, Nichio just shook his head. No more words. Seeing this, I didn't ask further. As a demon, be a bit more cautious. Don't be too curious. The next day arrived. Niu Wendao also learned about the 3 Veins dance. As soon as he saw me, he said, Master decided to let me and senior brother Chang Chun. Together they headed to the Lingshu secret realm. I heard there were rare and exotic fruits inside. Of course, there are dangers too. But I shook my head and said, thank you for your kindness. I don't want to go. I just want to rest peacefully. But Niu Wendao started imagining things on his own again. I understood. You want to keep enduring in silence. Only after revenge was possible would he act. I fell silent. Why has this kidney always insisted that I wanted revenge? If you say that, even if I have enough strength, it was also very difficult to make a move. Niu Wendao continued, tomorrow, I'm going to the secret realm to improve my strength. My master wanted me to achieve a good ranking in the competition. It's best to defeat Chang Chun together. Speaking of which, Niu Wendao suddenly whispered, I feel there's something wrong with Chang Chun. He didn't seem like the genius rumored to be. In classical Chinese, my expression instantly turned serious. Humans like to hide their secrets. Be sure not to overexplore, because humans want to keep secrets. She will find ways to eliminate those who know secrets and demons. Niu Wendao nodded vigorously. Got it. If there's any benefit, go figure it out. He left me speechless. Should I praise him for his insight? In the end, Niu Wendao left. Before leaving, he threw me 3 bottles of upper chi refining bombs. This ox is a good ox. I hope to listen to my own words. Often Yin is far away for a period of time. When returning to the residence, I met Liu Changshou again. Senior brother Changshou, you really are always watching over me. But Liu Changshou stared at me intently. If not for you. Now that he has entered the Lingshu secret realm, I should be the one. I spoke calmly. That would be truly unfortunate. Senior brother, this is like a bamboo basket with a bamboo basket for nothing. As soon as he finished speaking, an angry Liu Changshou was about to make a move. But when he saw Nichio not far away, he calmed down again. Nichio will return to refining chi in 10 days. But no one will protect you. Let's see what you can do. What about the human heart? Greed knows no bounds. I shook my head. He got up and left. Longevity techniques also have their tempers. 10 days later, Nichio really did need to restore his energy meridians to prepare. Fortunately, before he left, he activated the grand formation for me. Junior brother, rest assured and in seclusion, wait for me to come back. If I can get the assist list and successfully assist, there will be an independent chi refining method. When the time comes, learn chi training with me. But he absolutely could never have imagined it. His words were a shocking awakening of the dreamer. Since those demon clan bones can cultivate chi, why don't I treat myself as a magical tool for training? So I made up my mind. From now on, he and Nichio will study the art of chi cultivation seriously. But at this moment, I have to deal with the biggest crisis first. Nichio had just left. Liu Changshou really did come, but seeing the grand formation, they simply couldn't get in. Just as he was about to leave with cold resentment. But I suddenly swaggered out of the formation. But strangely, seeing this, Liu Changshou didn't take any action. He just stared at me coldly, probably worried about scaring me back. I thought for a moment. Suddenly, he crouched down and left. Liu Changshou sensed my presence. He snorted coldly. So it was Earth Shield technique. No wonder he dared to come out. And he actually stepped from the 2nd layer of artifact refining to the 6th floor. How many pills did this cost? All of this should be mine. Thinking of this, his heart was almost twisted. He used a sudden spell to track him down. Enter a quiet forest. Only then did Liu Changshou suddenly emerge from underground. He actually lost my breath. Could it be that Nichio also gave me a magical artifact to conceal my aura? Just as he frowned in thought, a flash of sword light shot out from the trees behind him in an instant. In the rush, Liu Changshou's figure retreated violently. The long sword thrust repeatedly. Sword blades clashed. Liu Changshou's arm trembled. The long sword nearly slipped from his hand. But my sword advances with the momentum. Cut your wrist. A top-grade magic sword. Chi refining 7 levels. Niu Wendao just gave you just how many resources? You actually managed to step into the 7th level of chi refining. The only information he received was from that senior sister, privately. How much did Niu Wendao give me? Only Nichio and I know. I said nothing. The sword's edge is rising. A heavy aura spread out. Faint dark clouds were rolling overhead. The 3 soaring swords. The wrath of dark clouds. Liu Changshou naturally accepted this move. Equally fierce and fierce. The same sword strike. Even if you step into the 7th level of chi refining. Nor are they my match. The same sword moves were about to collide, but I suddenly disappeared. Liu Changshou's expression changed, but the sword move could no longer be withdrawn. Silently and without a sound, if a ghost emerges from underground, a sword pierced through his body. Blood flowed out. Liu Changshou's sword summoned Jingsan. He watched Chuanshan Yi Jian Yi. Strive to draw your sword. But then I left immediately. Liu Changshou took the opportunity to take a pill. He roared, despicable. If you have the guts, come out and fight head-on, just as senior brother wished. As soon as he finished speaking, a flash of sword light appeared, like an antelope dangling on its feet, leaving no trace to follow. A look of joy appeared in Liu Changshou's eyes. A sword thrust out. The sword aura was boundless. Blockade me on all sides. but in the next moment, I disappeared again. Lu Changshou struck out with his palm. The heroic soul palm force sank into the ground, quickly seeping into the ground. No, Lu Changshou was the first to be upright. Repair. The sword light reappeared. I manifested from the trees behind me. Once again, a sword pierced through his body. Hangbo's sword energy surged into his body. Wantonly destruction. Senior brother, I'm not just good at Earth Shield, I said slowly. He drew his sword and went out, bringing star-red blood. Two swords pierced his body. Lu Changshou's body drew his spear. His face was fierce and menacing. His eyes were filled with a chilling glint. You despicable scoundrel. Playing tricks. The heart lives longer. I snorted coldly. The speed suddenly increased. White clouds vanish without a trace. White clouds drift unpredictably. For a moment, throughout the dense forest, from all directions, my figure and the light were visible. Lu Changshou hurriedly tried to use his burrow technique to escape, but blood kept flowing from her body. If he burrowed underground, he would still be exposed. He also wanted to escape by borrowing a tree, but unexpectedly, I always managed to get ahead of him. At this moment, only then did Lu Changshou realize in shock, my cultivation has long surpassed his. In just a moment, Lu Changshou had already transformed and was battered and bruised. Blood flowed freely. His breath grew heavy. Cheng, stop, stop. Lu Changshou's expression changed dramatically, panicking and begging for mercy. I know I was wrong. I know I was wrong. Let me go. From now on, I'll listen to you. Really? Really? I swear to heaven, from now on, I will recognize you as my master. On your knees. Setting it down becomes a sword. I will spare your life. All right. Throw the sword farther away. His breathing grew heavier. His kneeling body was shaking. I walked slowly, looking at Lu Changshou, who was almost blurred for a moment. He sighed. Senior brother, it wouldn't be like this. I know I was wrong. From now on, I'll listen to you. You are mine. Lu Changshou was truly scarce, but his right hand suddenly probed deeply. I had anticipated it and dodged to the side. An arrow pierced his throat. They say the heart lives long. I'm not stupid. He didn't even use inner armor. He really gave senior brother Lu some favor. This period of attachment has hindered his cultivation. Not even a single treasure was found. All this preparation was for nothing. He grabbed Lu Changshou's corpse and fled underground. His palms quickly transformed into roots, wrapping around Lu Changshou's corpse. Quickly break down them into pure nutrients. Escape underground and leave the woods. Lu Changshou really is a pauper. He had no pills on him, just that upper bottle magic sword. Taking this magic sword is just troublesome. I don't need it either. He hadn't expected the chi refining chi layer to contain such abundant nutrients, because it allows me to break through to the body refining chi layer. I returned to my residence, surprised. One Lu Changshou was worth more than a bottle of chi blood pills. Digest nutrients with peace of mind. Temper the whole body. The blood veins on his body increased again. The dense power of vital energy was truly terrifying. Strands of blood spread across his body like blood vessels. Biluo upgrades and flows. Let my whole tree shine like jade. It displayed a strange and eerie appearance. The lush leaves now had a hint of color. It is stronger and more resilient. Body refining stage 7. I opened my eyes and painted it by hand as tree roots. He touched the upper bottle magic sword. Compared to the previous bottle of magic sword, it was still somewhat lacking. Artifacts of the same grade can break through one's own defenses. Still able to bite into myself. In the future, I will learn the art of chi cultivation from Nichio. I muttered to myself. It made no sense for those demon clan bones to be able to cultivate chi, but I can't do it. He treated himself as a magical artifact and refined it. It should be fine, right? As for damage, that's not a concern, as long as no one notices their identity. Those endless opportunities to heal all wounds. Then I'll secretly study it myself. Without the elixir, I don't want to go out either. Practice with peace of mind. Waiting for Nichio to return. He learned chi cultivation from Nichio, researching stronger body training methods. The Xianbo also needs further research and refinement, until the 9th level of chi refining. Unfortunately, there was no plant demon cultivator living in the foundation mirror as a reference. Continue cultivating. His cultivation progress was slow. Only a little improvement after a day passes. His progress in body refinement was also extremely slow. No wonder those demon cultivators couldn't resist and began capturing living beings as nourishment. But he wasn't short on time. There was no need to resort to such tactics, often walking along the riverbank. How could there be blood loss? If the demon body is exposed, the heart is slain by demons and demons. In severe cases, 10 corpses were dismembered. Reaching Lu Changshou, that was a helpless move. This is an exaggeration of the people. It can only be turned into nourishment. The younger brother only had one piece of clothing left. A long sword flew out. I looked out the window and saw Niu Wendao standing outside the door, blocked by the formation, unable to enter. I went downstairs and welcomed him in. You came out of the Lingshu secret realm, and it seems you've made quite a bit of progress. Changsheng, I want to ask, what should you do if you steal someone's belongings? Niu Wendao said in a low voice, and my eyelid twitched. You're not going to steal Changsheng, are you? Yes, but I was forced. That guy actually wanted to enslave me. Fortunately, my master gave me a protective treasure. In a fit of anger, I activated my bloodline and borrowed the treasure. The object severely wounded him and stole his spiritual medicine. I fell silent, and Niu Wendao continued. Honestly, that herb was truly powerful, allowing me to step into the 7th level of Qi refining. Don't be fooled by Changchun's current 8th level of Qi refining. She's really no match for me. You're very formidable. Changchun didn't keep causing trouble for you. He acted behind the scenes, and no one knew about it. That's exactly why I snatched his spiritual herbs. Since it was done privately, it should be treated as nothing happened. If you tell your master about this, he will also advise you to endure. I can beat Changchun, so why must I keep enduring in silence? I defeated him openly. Maybe you could take his place, become the senior brother. That's exactly what my master thought. Will support me. It's not that easy. You can beat Changchun. Can they beat the sect leader? Your master will help you. The sect leader won't help Changqing anymore. You're right, but Changchun does have issues. Bai Yu Chuan is but a chicken built by the rooster, and the sect leader is returning tonight, a whole realm away. If there's a problem, there's a problem. Don't be too curious. I sensed a demonic aura from him. I didn't investigate. However, during the fight, he sensed demonic energy. My heart skipped a beat. Could it be that Lingshu Cave Heaven is really studying the cultivation methods of the demon race? Changchun was the first cultivator. Just pretend you know nothing. Playing dumb appropriately. Only then can you live better in the Lingshu Cave Heaven. I have a secret. Yes. You have a secret. When you go talk to your master, just say Changchun is harming you. Don't mention the elixirs. Why? How could one not mention how valuable that spirit demon was? Anyway, only Changchun knows about it. Just refuse to admit it to anyone. I remembered. Then let's go back. Don't come looking for me so easily in the future. You are an ancient demon genius, and I was just an ordinary disciple. We're friends. The gap in status was too great. Then they are no longer friends. I don't understand. By the way, you sign up for the 3rd Sale Martial Arts Conference. Is he trying to defeat Lu Changshou in front of everyone? When will I sign up? The Three Veins Martial Alliance is coming. You didn't sign up yourself. I saw you on the list. No? I just want to focus on my cultivation. Don't think about that. Which bastard helped me register? No identity token for me. How did you successfully register? I'll ask for you when I get back. After saying this, Niu Wendao left Naichio's residence. I furrowed my brows. Who exactly did it? The Three Veins martial gathering was such a public event. How could he possibly use the art of immortality? It seems like not going directly is not an option. The Three Veins martial gathering is extremely important to Lingshu Dongtian, but I didn't sign up for it. That is a grave sin. Forget it. No matter who did it, then just admit defeat. The art of immortality should still be kept low-key. Don't draw too much attention, unless you are sure the other party can't cut you. Meanwhile, on the other side, Niu Wendao arrived at Bai Yu Chuan's residence. Bai Yu Chuan had just finished cultivating. Seeing him return, I heard you left the Lingshu secret realm. You went to seek immortality. Why not just come back directly? Master. I don't dare come back. Disciple feels wronged. What are you feeling wronged about? Who bullied you? This is his disciple. How could an ancient demon genius be bullied? In the Lingshu secret realm, that Changchun wants to enslave me. Fortunately, Master gave me the means. Only then did he survive. The disciple felt wronged inside, and dared not speak. Changsheng calls me language. Their status was low, and can be used to express grievances. After telling the story, only then did he feel a bit better. Come back to see Master. Enslaving you? How could he dare do that? I'll take you to find the sect leader right away. Master, please calm your anger. Niu Wendao hurriedly stopped him. It's no big deal for the disciple to feel wronged. Changchan is the sect leader's disciple. The sect leader's younger brother will show favoritism. In the end, it will also fade away. Bai Yuchuan's expression was complicated. This Niu Wendao is truly thoughtful. Indeed, the sect leader tends to favor his own disciples. Even if he went, there would be no results. A good disciple, but it was of no use at the time. Sorry to have wronged you. Master, you have already treated your disciple very well. I just want Master to be happy. I just want to cultivate well with Master. Niu Wendao lightly rubbed Bai Yuchuan's clothes. Bai Yuchuan's expression changed. To have such a proudly rounded disciple, it was truly my own good fortune. His own disciple was bullied, but he could not stand up for him. Elder Bai Yuchuan sighed inwardly, until even going to find the sect leader was useless. Unable to stand up for his disciple, all I can do is give him more care. Thus it was. Niu Wendao gained another bunch of resources and protective techniques. Changsheng called out so well. Just a few words gave me a bunch of resources. Niu Wendao thought to himself, truly my good friend. Meanwhile, I wielded the Lingshu mysterious bow and the body refining technique. Practice quietly. Time passed. The day of the Sword Vein martial gathering ended as scheduled. A disciple brought me a competition token. Let me go to the tournament on time. I had to leave my residence, heading to the place of the martial gathering. Not far away, this was the place where Lin Jianfeng's disciples practiced their spells. Now, 10 arenas have already been set up, except for disciples of the Linshu Cave Heaven Sword Vein nearby. Denmark and Jimai also came to watch. The scene was lively. I don't like it. The main gate arrived. The main gate arrived. A series of exclamations rang out. I looked up. A man with half-white hair, wearing purple Taoist robes. His expression was resolute. A golden jade pendant hung at his waist. This man was none other than Ji Wangxian, the sect leader of Linshu Cave Heaven. Tonight, the realm of Anchang is complete. Behind him, he was an elderly man with white hair and a youthful face. Her skin was like a baby's. A kind smile hung on his face. This person was Ji Yu Hengtong, the Grand Elder of Lingshu Dongtian, stationed at the summit of Ji. Welcome, sect leader. Grand Elder. The sect leader stepped onto the arena. His face was full of smiles. He stepped onto the ring. He scanned the entire venue. All the disciples in the hall fell silent. The biennial Three Veins dance, but this time was different. Because my Lingshu Cave Heaven geniuses are so enthusiastic, the future is bound to be brilliant. All the disciples knew. The original sect leader took disciples from Changchun. Even the 7-day Qi refining has been heard of. Senior brother Changchun is exceptionally gifted. The bearing of a military age. Senior brother Changchun, the son of heaven Wushuang, is coming. A group of disciples praised him wildly. I echoed the praise. He behaved no differently from these ordinary disciples. I don't care how talented he is, except for the ancient demon Qing Niu asked. I haven't met any genius yet. Ji Wangxian was very pleased with the disciples' reactions. He nodded. Although Changqian is a genius, but the sect still has a genius. That was Elder Bai Yuchuan's disciple, a man with ancient demon bloodline. Niu asked. Truly, heaven blesses my Lingshu Cave Heaven. News of Niu Wendao had already spread throughout the entire sect. To meet the ancient demon, many disciples ran to the prison. Heavenly medicine Lingshu Cave Heaven. The heavenly medicine is spiritually empty. If both Niu Wendao and Changchun grow up, it will surely elevate Lingshu Cave Heaven to a new level. Changchun Niu asked, possessing the appearance of primordial precious pearls. In the future, he will surely surpass me, leading the sect to become strong. The original form of a precious pearl. The disciples were in an uproar, utterly shocked. The sect leader only wants to repay the single person tonight. Only above is the primordial pearl. In the future, he could surpass the sect leader. That Lingshu Cave Heaven would definitely reach a new level. This time, the Sword Vein Dance Gathering. Changchun and Niu Wendao will not compete with you. You still have 10 spots. Ji Wangxian's voice rang out. Once 10 are chosen, we'll compete with you. It doesn't affect your ranking. The sect leader is wise and wise. The sect leader is wise and wise. The disciples immediately erupted in excitement. Several peak 9th level artifact cultivators nearly jumped up in excitement. They had always been wary of Changchun and Niu Wendao. There is no confidence that they can handle it. Now, as the sect leader said, that means 10 assist singles are still worth fighting. Alright, this sect leader announces. The meeting of the Lingshu Dongtian Sword Vein began. Applicants will go on stage to draw lots. Ji Yi Wang finished speaking. His gaze turned to Ji Yu Hengtong. This meeting. Everything is managed by the Grand Elder. With that, he stepped off the stage. A disciple came to grab a chair. Ji Yu Hengtong stepped onto arena number 1. His expression was calm. As usual, he held the sword slip in his hand. Let the disciples draw lots. As soon as he finished speaking, one of them leapt onto the stage for his disciple. He held a palm-sized piece of sword tendon. I have one too. He sighed helplessly. Head to arena number 10. Disciples were already lined up on the arena. I was ranked below. One drew lots for the disciples. He left the ring with his lot. Wait quietly. Soon, it was my turn. I drew number 83. There was no order in the draw. I looked at these disciples. The worst is even at level 7. Each one is elegant and dignified, youthful complexion, are all full of confidence. I also observed the vertical techniques of these people. Qi Refining Force still doesn't understand the methods of the sword. It is merely an ordinary sword that has been severed. However, they all learned the remaining techniques. For example, Palm Thunder. Although the Palm Thunder of Qi Refining Jin only heard thunder but not thunder, but the Palm Force was fierce and domineering. That's truly extraordinary. So strong. This sword strike could probably threaten the 8th level of Qi Refining. On arena number 10, the two disciples' sword auras rained down. The speed of his movements, leaving behind traces of cruelty on the ring. I recognize the sword techniques they use. 13 Swords of Spiritual Void. This sword technique emphasizes speed and fierceness. Day after day, it never leaves the vital point. 13 swords initially cover all directions around the enemy's body, leaving nowhere to escape. Almost all disciples of Lingshu Dongtian practiced this sword technique. The Lingyun 3 sword technique I practice myself, but not as popular as the 13 swords of Lingshu. The 3 Lingyun swords vanished without a trace. Elusive, and their strength has already weakened. Look for the enemy's weaknesses, unleashing the wrath of the dark clouds again. One strike is a fatal blow. I think the 13 swords of Lingshu are more like the sword of the reckless, although he looked very strong. But what matters is a certain momentum, the determination to kill the enemy. I don't like this sword technique. If one combo can't kill the enemy, their momentum will fade. You might not even have a chance to run. The Lingyun 3 swords are still better. Retreat is possible at any time, and preserving life is paramount. This kind of martial arts contest is the same. It's all about mastering swordsmanship, combat experience and cultivation. A quarter of an hour later, the first round of the competition ended. 10 disciples were eliminated. His face showed a look of indignation. He stated that he would definitely defeat his opponent in the next year's rematch. The disciples below were discussing. What if he encountered it? Can you surpass the other side? Some were full of confidence. Some people were already feeling uneasy. I remained calm. He wasn't worried about it. Just go up and admit defeat. Until near noon. Finally, it was my turn. I took Qin Hao and sword token onto the arena. The long sword in his hand was brought from Naichio. In terms of martial arts matches, the sect doesn't prepare weapons. My opponent was a Taoist in his 20s. Qi Refining 7 layers, 7 middle levels. I cupped my hands and said, "Little brother Li Changsheng, greetings, senior brother. The spiritual sword endures the cold wind for ages. I know you. You found Niu Wendao in prison. Senior brother knows me. It's my honor. I heard that before you met Niu Wendao, you were only at the 2nd level of Qi Refining. Unexpectedly, today, yet he dares to stand on this arena and look down on me. But Han Jiuyuan wasn't so kind. He sneered. But you are someone who doesn't know how to be grateful. The senior brother who once taught you to learn demonic language and gave you a chance. After you climbed the Niu Wendao, then he humiliated him a bit, cutting off all contact. I was slightly shaken. Senior brother, why do you say such things? I have never been like this. This Li Changsheng is actually such a person. Climbed onto the ox and asked. He immediately forgot about his previous senior brother. Really a terrible person. The disciples below immediately cursed angrily upon hearing this. His eyes were full of disdain as he looked at me. Today, I'll give you a good lesson for that senior brother, Han Jiuyuan said coldly. You have poor talent, but he was forced to improve it through pills. Today, I'll bring you back to your true self. Stay well in prison from now on. Don't have any other ideas. I frowned. He understood in his heart. No more words. Senior brother said so much, but it didn't mean much. Please, the person before him should be someone Lu Changshou is familiar with. At this moment, the Grand Elder's lineage was presiding. Behind-the-scenes manipulation is easy to deal with me. Han Jiuyuan snorted coldly. The long sword was drawn. At the moment of death, sword light filled the air. The sword light was closing in at him. Blockade on all sides. Senior brother Han, don't stay behind. Send him back to prison. Useless people should just stay in prison. Many disciples below also shouted loudly. He wanted to disturb my heart with this. I quickly cupped my hands in greeting. He threw out his own sword token. Senior brother is very strong. I admit defeat. Han Jiuyuan was straightforward. The next moment, his face turned icy cold. The sword light thrust straight at him. My expression changed. The sword light was already in front of him. The Western suit was in a panic, drew his spear and retreated. His body almost brushed past the sword light. Dodging it, quickly retreat to the edge of the ring. He lost his balance and fell straight down. Han Jiuyuan was slightly stunned, but I quickly got up. He cupped his hands in the arena. Senior brother, your swordsmanship is excellent. I lost. And took his leave. Han Jiuyuan, the disciples below, and this scene also caught the attention of Grand Elder Ji Yu Hengtong, but he didn't pay much attention. What a waste. Senior brother Han was scared out of his wits. Senior brother Han's 13 spirit beard swords were simply masterful. I didn't even see clearly just now. Yes, senior brother Han is incredible. This kind of guy relies on clinging to Niu Wendao. What ability could he possibly have? Very soon, Han Jiuyuan was drowned out by a wave of flattery. Han Jiuyuan was a bit confused. Is that really the case? But he hadn't really made a move yet. I promised Lu Changshou that he would teach me a lesson, not to mention serious injuries. At the very least, I had to be utterly embarrassed and lose face. Now he had lost face, but he wasn't hurt at all. And this kid failed. How could I not be sad? Instead, he just patted his butt and left. She seemed very excited. By the way, it seemed like she hadn't seen Lu Changshou for several days. No matter what, Wu hadn't seen him at all. But I ignored all that, just to recognize a book. Now it's already lost. It was time to return and focus on cultivation. Back to the residence. I once again focused on cultivation. Although without pills, progress in cultivation was very slow. But cultivation is inherently a life accumulated day by day, slowly refined spiritual power. Practice with peace of mind. Everything outside has nothing to do with me. What three veins can dance? Compare as much as you want. She practiced until evening. Niu Wendao is back again. I sighed. Didn't you say not to come looking for me easily? Although Niu Wendao gave me resources, it's a good ox, but Niu Wendao was too popular. If I come here, I will also attract attention. I'm here to comfort you. I detest it. Comfort me. How could you dance? He didn't even block a single move. He fell awkwardly onto the arena. It was truly embarrassing, but we must not be sad about it. I believe you will definitely pull yourself together. Sooner or later, defeat that Han. What was it again? A long time has passed through the cold season. I'm fine. No need to comfort him. You don't have to pretend to be strong. I rubbed my heart in vain. It's a good ox. I never wanted to attend the meeting. Putting a long tree on the road is a huge pressure, unless they are sure they can't chew on themselves. You deliberately admitted defeat. Tomorrow will be reported. Everyone went up. Why not give it your all? I don't have enough strength. He still had to endure in silence. I could only explain it to him in a way Niu Wendao could understand. Getting out of prison is enough. You just don't want the good resources up there, not longing for it. I also want good resources, but you have to fight with others. Better not. Even training his own body couldn't stop Tong Jie's magic sword. There was no shortage of those at the 9th level of Qi refining in the martial arts competition. The first round was Han Jiuyuan, the middle Qi of the 7th level of Qi refining. The second round, if you get hurt, in the Grand Hall, the Changsheng tree falls like snow. The scene was too brutal. I can't imagine it. Alright. I still want to wait for you to make good friends. Practice with me. You need to understand, you are a genius, destined to reach the top. You can't stare at a useless person like me. I was going to give you resources, but my master limited my resources. He said he wanted to win over disciples and sell them cheaply. That way, I have someone by my side, multiple guarantees in the future. Listen to your master. I don't need resources. From now on, I will go to the artifact refining sect. He wanted to learn artifact forging from senior brother Nai. This is my life. That's such a pity. Niu Wendao was a bit downcast. I was the only person he felt close to. Only by my side will you feel lonely. But I was unwilling to go up with him. His talent was indeed lacking. Without the resources he provided, maybe he's only at the 4th level of artifact refining now. There is a saying among humans, 8 or 9 out of 10 times things go unsatisfactory. It's impossible for everything to go as planned. Can I still talk to you in the future? It's just a simple chat. This is possible privately. Don't let your master find out. Alright. Longevity. If one day I return to the demon clan, would you like to come with me? When the time comes, I will take master with me. Absolutely must not have such thoughts. You are now in the human sect. He wanted to return to the demon clan's demon world. Your master and I went to the world of demons, just like you feel. No matter where you are in the future, no matter who it is, including your master, no one could say that again. This time, I just pretend I didn't hear anything. I understood. Niu Wendao took a deep breath. Hurry up and not leave. He still had the idea of returning to the demon world. No matter how good his master treated him, yet it still couldn't change the loneliness in my heart. He knows gratitude. Remember master's kindness. But this loneliness cannot be compensated by kindness. Demons lack a sense of belonging in the human world. I understand. Because so am I. But I am different. I went to the demon world, and it was the same. Immortality is not just a demon. He also pursued peaceful spiritual practice. Once they have the strength to protect themselves, then think about other ideas. Niu Wendao left. I activate the formation. Continue your seclusion. The 3 veins of Lingshu cave heaven dance together like fire and earth. No one pays attention to me, this young disciple. Although Han Jiuyuan was confused, but now, what matters more is knowing how to dance. Reaching Lu Changshou, someone is searching, but he couldn't find any trace of him. Time passed. Half a month passed with his eyes closed. I finally got to level 7 late stage. Body training is still at the 7th level, the 7th day. No more chi and blood list. No flesh or blood nourishment. Progress is slow. Naichio is back. A smile spread across his face. Senior brother Nai. Congratulations, senior brother Nai. Got the host order. You have been in seclusion. How do you know I got a support pill? Senior brother's face says it. If it weren't for obtaining the assist pill, how could there be such a smile? I did get a support pill. You can also restore your chi meridian. Naichio took out a magnetic bottle. Inside was a green pill. Take me to assist. I'll take you to chi refining. Thank you, senior brother. I turned to leave. He thought to himself, I'm missing my vital energy. Niu Wendao probably won't come looking for me anytime anymore. But Naichio didn't rush to break through. Instead, he said, back then, I was refining chi and gambling with others. A high-grade magic sword he considered forged, not inferior to those at the 9th level of artifact refining. Before the loser assists, except for martial arts, one cannot return the chi meridian. Fortunately, I met you. Only then can I reach the 9th level of artifact forging. Seized the support strike list. Back then, senior brother lost the duel. No wonder senior brother is in prison. What about the saint? The sage ranked 11th. But was defeated by my own hand. This time, however, I had to step forward and assist. Congratulations, senior brother. I apologize again. No more talking. I'll go practice. Wait until I succeed in assisting. Look at my memory. This is the high-grade chi and blood pill I brought for you. Thank you, senior brother. You also seek to enter seclusion. I'll also go back to my room to go into seclusion and refine the chi and blood pill. The chi and blood pill transformed into pure nutrients and merged into his body. Quickly digested, the blood on his body grew even more intense, become tough and solid. Refining pill after pill, his body was rapidly advancing. Body training is exhausting. He began to refine his chi, slowly refine the spiritual power within his body. In the blink of an eye, 7 days passed. The 2 bottles of chi and blood pills had already been refined. Reached the mid-stage of body refinement. The later stages are not far off. Naichio was still cultivating. I haven't left the country. He continued cultivating by taking the arm bone pill. Dual chi refining and body refining were conducted, although slowly, but every day I feel improvement. Another 7 days passed. A powerful aura radiated out. It woke me up. A tremendous energy fluctuation. It shocked me inside. Nichio successfully assisted. I also experienced the terrifying power of a strong supporter. But this energy fluctuation that radiated out, all of this makes my scheming impossible to resist. Those elders had been assisting for years. Their strength is unfathomable. Senior brother Gong he assisted in the attack. Nichio walked out of the room. His entire body radiated a powerful aura. I still need 3 days to consolidate my cultivation. After 3 days, we examined the Qi Meridian. Yes. I turned and went back to my room. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. Nichio's cultivation was solid. His breath was restrained. He used the storage belt to collect all the layers of magical artifacts. Let's go. I'll take you to the Qi Meridian. I'll get in touch with Lin Jianfeng. Thank you, senior brother. There's no need to be so formal between us. You are my benefactor. Nichio smiled. With a wave of his hand, the magic sword flew out. He held me in one hand. Stepping on his sword, he ascended. Wishing to use his sword, he walked, instantly soared into the sky, disappearing into the clouds, assisting in striking desires. The golden elixir rides upon the clouds. This sword was a bit lacking. Once it enters the Qi Meridian, then it can be retrained. With my senior brother's memories, naturally, it was effortless. Spiritual energy flows. Nichio led me to the top. The palace pavilions are connected in a cluster. The spiritual energy was far richer than before. It can be compared to Lingjian Peak. Niu Wendao said. Lingjian Peak has a spirit gathering formation. This spiritual wind also has a spirit gathering array. There was only one white fluffed old man in the shop, leisurely examining the situation. Elder Wu. Nichio walked in. Respectfully practice medicine. Not bad, not bad, not bad. He has a bit of the style I once had. Go claim it yourself. This is your Qi refining momentum. After speaking, he threw a pitch-black token to Nichio. Thank you, Elder. Nichio took the token. The character 13 was engraved on it. He led me down to the top. There are quite a few houses around here, but they were separated by dozens of meters. Every house has a smelting furnace, isolated by formations. The surroundings are also shaded by lush vegetation. Arriving at house 13, a 3-story building. Use a token to activate the formation and enter the house. Inside the courtyard was a huge smelting facility. There is also a well. You wait here for me. I'll go collect the wind and cloud refinement first. Yes. I obediently replied. Wait inside the room. The first floor is filled with various hammers, smelting tools. The second and third floors are for living. I didn't have a random shot. Sit cross-legged to practice. Although the spiritual energy here is not as strong as Fengdi, yet it far surpasses the place where I used to be, and took about half an hour. Nichio is back, holding a small booklet in his hand. Senior brother. Nichio opened the storage pouch. He took out a pile of books. Take a closer look at the formations on this site. Since ancient times, the energy of battle formations has never been separated. To train Qi, first learn formations. Yes. Otherwise, how could these magical tools be so resilient and hard to resist? How to enhance the power of refinement? Good Qi cultivation materials. He also needed formation assistance. Otherwise, it's just materials. So that's how it is. I will definitely study diligently. You want to learn? I'll teach you wholeheartedly, waiting for your support. I also tell you that you have mastered the ultimate in wind and clouds. The wind and clouds are perfectly refined. This was Lingqi Wind's unique Qi refining technique. Not bad. The wind and clouds are perfectly refined. Legend has it that the patriarch of Lingshu Cave Heaven inhaled it in an ancient ritual record. Unfortunately, it was only incomplete. At most, it can refine air magic tools capable of refining golden leaf ring pills. An extraordinary method. Unfortunately, foundation establishment artifacts can only be cultivated, because the spiritual power for refining artifacts couldn't support it. Only the soul and spiritual power of foundation establishment can escape the cultivation furnace. Refined with spiritual power, the foundation establishment artifact was separated from the fire reversal. It can transform spiritual power into true fire and forge artifacts. Senior brother. I was curious. You say you can refine living things into artifacts, and that living creature is still alive. Living beings. Yes. For example, a spirit tree. He directly refined a tree into a magical artifact. Your brain. Of course not. living beings will be burned by real fire. I fell silent. My body refining can't stop the bronze knot artifact. It was a sudden whim. What if he were to refine himself as a magical artifact? His body was covered in formations. Does that mean it can be so strong that the bronze knotted magical artifact can't break it? I can focus on studying this formation knowledge. Liu Changsho's long sword was finally found, but except for the long sword, there are no other items. Liu Changsho disappeared without a trace. Lin Jianfeng also sent people to investigate. Naturally, someone came to me, but I have Nichio as my witness. Junior brother Li has been accompanying me in seclusion for half a month. Every inch is a step apart. I can testify for him. At that moment, I activated the formation. He did not tell Changsheng how to deploy the formation. He was essentially trapped in madness. Nichio explained. As soon as he said this, it directly resolved all my doubts. The disciples who investigated had no choice but to leave. I cupped my hands and said, "Thank you, senior brother." Back then, Nichio taught me to come and go freely. Control the formation. Nichio said this now. Just remove me directly. It has nothing to do with this. After leading his disciples away, Nichio said, "Liu Changsho, could it really be you who killed him? How is that possible?" Liu Changsho was at the 7th level of qi refining. How am I an opponent? That's true. Nichio nodded. No more overthinking. It was good that Liu Changsho was gone. No one wants you to trouble yourself. Rest assured, learn qi cultivation from me. I sighed. No more words. Focus on learning formations. In the end, Liu Changsho's matter could only be left unresolved, except for a sword. No other clues remained. The remaining clothes were still hidden underground. Even if you find the clothes, it was only to confirm Liu Changsho's death. There's no way they'll find out about me. But speaking of this matter, I was completely at ease, focusing on studying formations. Nichio also carefully explained the path of qi refining to me. Qi refining looked at the ball, but there are many difficulties. Its meticulous craftsmanship, countless arrays of formations, carry it with vital energy. You asked about the living spirit creature before. Refine true fire. Wear and tear materials. The spirit technique had already been killed. What we need is a magical artifact that can carry our own power, whether it's plants or trees, or all materials. Youthfully cultivating the bones. In fact, it hinders the circulation of our spiritual power. Obstruction, yes. After all, it's not our own bodies. This is called qi refining. It means removing these obstacles. Transform it into something that runs smoothly. A magical tool that amplifies our spiritual power. So the spirit creature couldn't possibly be alive. We use real fire to remove impurities from the utensils, and burn their bodies to the bone. Reconstruct. How could he survive? So that's how it is. I suddenly understood. Then I really started thinking, since that's the case, then how about refining it yourself? Your own body operates its own power. Naturally, there are no obstacles. Smooth and unbeatable. No real fire is needed to burn it. Then there's no need to die. And so on. True fire accelerated the refining. Remove impurities. If that's the case, could he also refine his body with true fire? But thinking about it, he needed support. Only then can true fire be ignited. I had no choice but to give up for now. He asked Nichio to help temper it. You can't take that risk. If anything happens along the way, then it's not tempering. He went straight to refining the elixir of immortality. Nichio continued. We must use true essence. That is, spiritual power. Engraving formations on magical artifacts. Host realm. Spiritual power transformed into liquid true essence. This led to the later golden elixir ring pill. Spiritual power carved formations, drawing and guiding the spiritual serpents of heaven and earth. Warming and nurturing ritual implements. Maintain the spiritual power of the magical artifact. It was also because of the spiritual power pulled by the formation. Only then can the artifact be strong enough. It can amplify the user. Every magical artifact. The most basic formation is the small spirit gathering array. Only a spirit gathering array can give magical tools spiritual power. Constantly nurture the magical artifact itself. The other is custom-made life-bound magical artifacts. This life-bound magical artifact is entirely crafted by qi refiners based on the cultivation methods of practitioners. Generally speaking, unless you have no knowledge of qi refining at all, otherwise, he wouldn't have asked a qi refiner for help, because qi refiners need to understand the other party's cultivation methods. He also personally forged his life-bound magical artifact. You may know the other person's weaknesses. Did senior brother ever make a life-bound magical artifact for someone? Never touched before, only aided in striking the mirror. Only then is one qualified to nurture a life-bound magical artifact. Life-bound magical artifact. It needs true essence to nurture one's own hard work. The qi refining mirror can't do that. I understood. Alright, I'll start practicing qi first. Here are the materials for the qi refining mirror. There is also a method of crafting. You should study it yourself first. Nichio handed me a storage treasure. I had just stepped into the assist, needed a break from Fengyun intensive training, and secluded himself to practice crafting magical instruments. Alright, I took the storage belt, leaving the house with the formation manual. I sat cross-legged outside in front of the furnace. He delved into the formation techniques. Spirit gathering formation. The 5 elements fill the ancestral formation. Various qi refining formations such as Xianjin formation, Lingmu formation, illusion array, Lingshu sword formation, and more. I was immersed in it. These formations weren't particularly complicated. After all, it was only a formation at the qi refining array level. The best way to learn formations is to draw them, paint on the ground and then destroy it. Although the formations drawn on the ground were almost useless, because soil does not contain spiritual power, naturally, it was impossible to activate the formation. I carve out one formation after another. Spirit gathering array, 5 elements Mizong formation, illusion formation. All the formations above were depicted. I tried to compare in my mind. If you inscribe these formations on yourself, he probably had to revise his cultivation route. He could only suppress his thoughts. From now on, leave the Chi Mai archive and the library pavilion. Let's see if we can find a solution. After learning the formation, it is carved with spiritual power. Selected stones as test subjects, or take a piece of wood and carve it onto the wood. I wasn't in a hurry to refine my weapon. Make thorough preparations before starting to refine magical artifacts. After a day, I've only learned formations. 7 days passed. The formation was completely mastered. Only then did they begin carving on stone and wood. Stone and wood are too small and fragile. It's hard to portray. Stones shattered one by one. Pieces of wood are turned into base powder. I wasn't discouraged. Keep practicing. Half a month flew by in the blink of an eye. I finally succeeded in carving on stone and wood. Of course, it's just a successful portrayal. Still reverses wood and stone. It didn't work. Resounding and resounding. A clear, shattered sword clanged out. Liuqiu has emerged from seclusion. Liuqiu's face was glowing red. His entire aura grew stronger. The magic sword in his hand was also filled with spiritual energy fluctuations far surpassing those of the qi refining stage. The strike technique sword was finally completed. The me I am now. Only then would a true qi refiner at the strike construction realm be found. Congratulations to senior brother for completing the Fengyun immediate training. How are you going? The formation was all recorded. He was still practicing the formation carving. You haven't started cultivating your energy yet. Not ready yet? I feel uncertain. Depicting formations is indeed a delicate task. Even the slightest sliver of a ruler would destroy a magical artifact. You're way better than I was back then. I never had your temperament back then. He rushed to get in and destroy quite a few materials. It was all thanks to senior brother's guidance. I just felt I wasn't enough. Just practice without worry. I have mastered the wind and cloud instantaneous training. You'll be my apprentice for a bit. Qi veins will provide materials to practice with. This is the honor of immortality. Greetings, master. What do you call master? Still calling each other senior and brother as before. An apprentice doesn't have to be an apprentice. If it weren't for you, the benefactor, I also couldn't assist successfully. Nichio went to help me with the apprenticeship arrangements. I continued to depict the formation, extremely careful. Pieces of wood. I carved all kinds of formations into the stones. By nightfall, the Sheiyu sword had already been carved. After Nichio returned, looking at the objects on the ground, he was also surprised. I didn't expect you to come down all day, to portray so much. Confident enough to cultivate your energy, right? I was confident. Tomorrow I will start practicing Qi. 13 apprentices. It means you are the apprentice of instructor number 13 Lian Yi. Thank you, senior brother. I put away the apprenticeship order. Draw water from the well. Rush early. Return to your room to cultivate. Physical training. No one has ever been single for Qi training. Slowly refine yourself. During the day, he practiced Qi. Practice at night. The same goes for the ball destruction. At Shuji, practice can now replace sleep. The next day, I began practicing Qi. Michio pointed from the side. A raging fire burned a chunk of blood. Under the guidance of the link, I swung my hammer and smashed the ball. Hammers combined with breathing techniques also have their own techniques. The combined ball was light. This iron hammer can also be considered a magical tool. The rebound force from hammering can be combined with breathing and breaking chains. So, that means, this Qi refining and forging iron is also a method of body refinement. Naturally, When you refine top-grade materials, he needed to mobilize more spiritual power. If not coordinated with breathing exercises, even an 8th-level chi refining expert would find it hard to endure. So that's how it is. If there's any work to hammer from now on, leave it to me. I am very passionate about body refinement. Sooner or later, it will become an immovable longevity technique that no one can crack. Under Nichio's guidance, I adjusted my breathing. A faint spiritual energy of heaven and earth merged into his body with his breath. The hammer's recoil power transmitted throughout his body. With every breath, he spat out curses, tempering the body with spiritual energy. This kind of tempering is much slower than cultivating oneself. Its prosperity lies in the accumulation of days and months. The black iron deforms under the hammer. Some impurities were also blasted away during the forging. After a whole day of repeated hammering, it had become a piece of pure black iron. Impurities have been almost completely eliminated. The art of refining qi cannot be mastered in a day. Practice hard. Nichio turned and went back to his room. I returned to my room to continue cultivating. The next day, hammer wild or forging a uniquely handled magic sword cannot be made from a single piece of black iron. The rest of the materials are also needed, and this is just an ordinary magical artifact. Some special magic swords contain various attributes. Different refining methods are required. 3 days in a row of material processing. It wasn't until the 4th day that the material was transformed into pure molten iron. Fortunately, there are ready-made templates. You only need to comb the molten iron before it solidifies. Imprint the formation onto it. These materials themselves are pure materials for refining artifacts. It was considered a spiritual item, although tougher than wood and stone, but for now, it's still molten iron. I have carved the Spirit Gathering Array and the Xianjin Array. The Spirit Gathering Array gathers spiritual energy to nurture the magic sword, empowers the user's sword move. The Xianjin formation gathers the metallic power of heaven and earth, make the long sword even sharper, easily breaking through copper-tier magical artifacts. I finally understood why I couldn't block the magic sword. Gold and wood carvings are not mentioned, but with the support of this formation, I couldn't possibly use my body to block a copper-grade magical artifact. Wait until noon the next day. This magic sword cooled down. He was already able to gather spiritual energy on his own. The blade was filled with a sharp aura. It was settled. You are very talented. The first chi training was already effective. You should be praised too. I never had your temperament back then. Half familiar with formations, he began cultivating qi. It failed several times. It's all thanks to the senior brother's dedicated teaching. Keep practicing. Refine more low-grade ones. If you're confident, train mid-grade and high-grade ones. It is in the chi vessels. He wanted to obtain cultivation resources. One must forge magical artifacts. Each magical artifact rewards 1 HP single. 10 items reward 1 chi refining sheet. I will do my best. Once you can refine a high-grade magical artifact, I'll take you to take on the training task. That's the real big deal. Training tasks. Yes, the sect's mission. I heard Lin Jianfeng has monster-catching skills. Quests like the Spirit Medicine quest. Each seller has its own tasks. The disciples took whatever they wanted, selling single sales and practice single sales. Qi is sold for refining qi. There were quite a few cultivators outside who didn't know how to refine their energy. They will entrust it to us. Sometimes he even had to leave the sect, go to the other person's house to practice qi. Generally, this kind of pay is generous, although half of it had to be handed over to the sect. But within the sect, he obtained many order resources. Would it be dangerous outside? Generally not, unless someone tries to default on payment and refuses to pay. Kill somebody to do away with a witness. This is extremely rare. I haven't met him before. The ones in danger are Lin Jianfeng's disciples. They were fighting demons and demons outside. Fighting and killing. No one knows when he might lose his life. Of course, they receive even more rewards. That's how it should be. They earned it with their lives. Yes. Earned with his life. The two chatted for a while more about qi cultivation. Each returned to their rooms to cultivate. The next day, he got up and continued practicing qi. I want to use every possible method. He was thoroughly proficient in formations, skilled in crafting lower-level magic tools. After that, I also picked up the pace. After each training session, Nichio, he would come to guide me in qi training. My physique is also slowly strengthening through qi training. Focus on practicing your energy. Do not concern yourself with matters outside the world. Half a year flew by. I practiced 7 layers. Body training reached the 7th level. Have been refined to the utmost. About to break through to the 8th floor. Now, I can skillfully forge mid-grade magical artifacts. He was skilled at various formations. he began refining high-grade magical artifacts. High-quality materials are more troublesome to handle. It will take me half a month to finish it. The flames of the wild refining furnace are ultimately reversed. Trying to forge materials is too slow. I also trained 3 formation plates. The 5 elements fill the ancestral formation, array switching and Lingshu sword formation. Store in a storage bag. Just deploy your formation whenever you need to use it. Over the past 6 months, Niu Wendao did not come looking for me. I occasionally go to the library to read. He did hear the legend of Niu Wendao's genius. The 3 veins converged. Niu Wendao defeated the 9th level of Qi refining, and defeated Chang Chun, and took first place, unmatched in prominence. He became the #1 genius. Changchun is known for its 7-day Qi refining technique, heir to the sect leader, but in front of Niu Wendao, he was completely outmatched. Niu Wendao listened to me. He was polite to everyone. He was extremely filial to his master. He showed great respect to his senior brothers and sisters. He simply did it perfectly. Some even said, if he weren't a demon, the position of sect leader heir would be changed to him. And Niu Wendao's legend was just beginning. He often led his senior brothers down the mountain to slay demons and evil spirits. Regards himself as human. He was very much like a person. If it weren't for the still light ox body, it wouldn't have been possible to move. Then there's no difference from a human. As for me, no one mentioned my friend. Niu Wendao never mentioned it to anyone, as if he had forgotten everything. I am very pleased with this. Finally, she no longer gets attention. Longevity. I found a good job. He forged a piece of century-old cold iron into a foundation establishment sword. Reward, 1 bottle of true essence. The opponent still needed to forge 2 Qi refining mirror swords. Reward, 2 bottles of high-grade Qi refining pills. Just in time for us to go. Is the distance far? Not far. It was located 30 li away in Zhongyang City, 30 li outside Lingshu Cave Heaven. Zhongyang City belongs to the human nation of Daimei. Ordinary people and practitioners live together within the city. The city is controlled by 3 major families. Even the lord of Zhongyang City must be wary of the 3 major families. Nichio led me through the city. We disciples of Lingshu Cave Heaven have nothing to fear, although the 3 great families are strong, but it was only a support. There was no gold trade in Zhongyang City to repay the order. There was one such a thing, painting. Back then, the central Daoist was stationed in this city. Even our Lingshu Cave Heaven has to show them some respect. Unfortunately, there was no successor. Tonight, Wandan is called a true immortal. Unfortunately, it still cannot withstand the ravages of time. The central true man has protected this city for 200 years. He had almost beaten the surrounding sects. There were victories and defeats. 200 years. I am Lingshu Dongtian. Victory or defeat. Naturally, he won. Central Zhenren fought too much. Countless hidden injuries within his body. He lived only a little over 200 years. This isn't a magical duel. This is completely risking your life. 300 years of lifespan. It has been nearly a century since it was severed. I scanned the surroundings. Many practitioners have encountered us. They deliberately kept a few steps away. There was no other reason. All because their Taoist robes were so elegant. Lingshu. 2 characters. Lingshu Cave Heaven is quite famous in Zhongyang City. As they spoke, the 2 arrived at a residence. The front courtyard gate hangs high and flat. Pure willow courtyard. Knock on the door. An elderly man opened the door to greet him. He invited us in. In the courtyard stood an old willow tree. Shifan was lush at night. A man and a woman sat cross-legged under a willow tree to rest. Lingshu Cave Heaven. The spirit surpasses the 90 sphere. Greetings, fellow Daoist. This is his junior brother, Li Changsheng. Naozhen returned the salute. The old Liu Qing. Those 2 are my old grandsons. Once the cultivation is complete, come pay your respects. Not necessarily. Let's get straight to the point. Liu Qing nodded. With a wave of his hand, 3 oars appeared. A piece of cold body about the size of an adult's head. It radiated a bone-chilling cold. Even someone at the peak of the 7th level can't withstand me. The other 2 pieces have a lot of minor damage. Only half the size of a cold body. A piece of crimson, filled with steam. It can actually withstand the cold. The last piece was green. It was as if a scene of majestic power was sweeping around them. Nichio looked surprised. Cold iron and red rocks. Clear wind stones. There is indeed a good opportunity. He actually managed to obtain these 3 excellent materials. Heirloom. Thank you 2 for forging a magic sword. No one knows how long it will take. Han Tai had already refined enough to forge a support sword. The other 2 pieces are indeed a bit smaller, but there were other ingredients. No, that's all. Old and feeble. Incompetent. One can only worship the ancestral legacy. Only these 3 divine stones remained. I have a proposal. I do not know whether it should be lectured or not. Please speak. It may be possible to blend Qingfeng Stone with Kaiyuan Stone. Assistant Instructor Wind, Fire, and Magic Sword. It will surely become a mid-grade assisting magic sword. The wind builds the fire. The fire burns long and the wind is powerful. Once gathered, they will have their own capabilities. I understand the meaning behind this. But alas, I have 2 disciples. Even I, an old man, must have weapons in my hands to protect them. Could you please add some materials? If you can achieve 2 good magic swords, that's enough. Adding some ingredients is also fine. Then I'll leave it to you, fellow Daoist. A sword containing iron can be used to insert some scraps. Fellow Daoists, you may take and use them all. Nichio was sweating slightly, very satisfied with Liu Qing's suggestion. After all, we were here to practice our weapons. You can't just throw yourself in there. Kaiyang Rock and Qingfeng Stone are both quite large. Such a large piece of cold iron. No matter what, he had to leave some materials behind. Even if it's just scraps, once you accumulate them, you can use them too. His foundation establishment sword could only be considered an ordinary sword, but it has no special attributes. Liu Qing arrived at the tea. There may be a furnace here. No? Nichio said no more. I stood quietly beside him. Not long after, the man and woman finished cultivating, and came to pay his respects. I returned the gift as well. Both were quite young. At the end of the month, she was 16 or 17 years old. The man was handsome. His name was Liu Xian. The woman's name was Liu Qingyu. Half of her face is extremely beautiful. The other half of his face had a red ridge. It ruins the aesthetic appeal. After they met, Liu Qing led us to the underground chamber. It was unusually quiet here, undisturbed. The 2 led the knight into the secret chamber. Nichio said, I was hoping you'd get some practice, but there was no furnace refinement here, and all are knights. Senior brother, I wouldn't dare to touch this stool for dancing. I'm going outside to wait for senior brother to have some fun. He hadn't come out yet. Nichio flipped his hand. Take out a money pouch. There are some large coins here. You can buy some small trinkets. I'll find a room to cultivate. Don't want to go out. Take it. What if it works? Nichio handed me the item. These 3 spirit stones are troublesome to handle. He wanted to forge a magic sword. At least 4 to 5 months. Only then did I accept the money pouch. Left the secret chamber. He was about to find Liu Qingyao's room to cultivate. Liu Qing said, you should go practice under that tree. There's a spirit gathering array there. Fine. I nodded slightly. Arriving under the old willow tree, the spiritual energy here was indeed dense, but a faint demonic aura lingered in the air. The demonic aura was very faint. If it weren't for being a tree demon with keen insight, they might not even be able to sense this demonic aura. I glanced at the old willow tree. The willows are quiet. No abnormalities were revealed. Liu Xian and Liu Qingyu went out for a walk. Practice with peace of mind. Naturally, there was no shortage of spiritual energy. Lingqiu was in seclusion in the alchemy room. I visualized my own world, absorbing the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. The Lingqiu mysterious bow moved slightly as I practiced my energy. When Liu Qing wasn't paying attention, the old willow tree swayed slightly. It actually started absorbing spiritual energy as well, but my mind was focused on it. The old willow tree really did become a spirit, cultivating outside. I won't be fully indoors. The old willow tree is just cultivating. It didn't disturb me. After a day of cultivation, I felt an 8-level bottleneck, slowly polishing. There will come a day of breakthrough. Liu Xian and Liu Qingyu had returned. Liu Qing had already prepared the meal. He invited me to eat together. I followed and ate blood. He brought Nichio a meal. I'm also handling the meal delivery for Nichio. The 3 of them would not approach the secret chamber to avoid the risk of prying eyes. He was also worried that his lack of understanding of artifact training might disturb Nichio. Continue practicing at night. When tired, she leaned against the old willow tree and fell asleep. The next morning, Liu Xian and Liu Qingyu also came here to cultivate. They only cultivate for half a day, unlike me, who practices everything except eating. Seeing this, Liu Qing cursed the 2 of them loudly. Look at how hardworking the disciples of Dongtian are. Let's look at you again. The 2 felt a wave of shame. It means making a certain effort. He practiced for half a day that day. For the young ones, monotonous cultivation is nowhere near as exciting as the outside world. I settled down peacefully in Qingyu courtyard. Practice every day. Polish yourself. Nichio entered the secret chamber without stepping out. Focus on practicing. After half a day of effort, Liu Xian and his sister, he returned to his laziness. Liu Qing was helpless. He said no more. I was training while I was cultivating. He had not yet fully stepped into the ranks of demon cultivators. For the sake of being fellow Shu Yao, I will help her gather some spiritual energy, accelerate her cultivation. Anyway, we've already reached a bottleneck. All that remains is polishing. He didn't need much spiritual energy. Eat on time when it's meal time. Liu Xian and his sister wouldn't be coming back at noon. Only Liu Qing and I remain. Liu Qing would occasionally inquire about the Lingshu Cave Heaven. It seemed he intended to let the siblings go. Entered Lingshu Cave Heaven to cultivate. I've heard that your Lingshu has two great geniuses. Changchun, a 7-day qi refining session. Niu with Gu waste bloodline asked. Their reputation has already reached you, sir. They had come to Shengyan City quite a lot. He had also clashed several times with the three major families. It's hard not to want to know. Almost everyone who goes out asks knows about it. Looks like he's making a big splash. The young man was full of vigor and spirit. Who doesn't want to be famous in the world? I also heard the ox ask, though it is the ancient demon blue ox, but he treated people politely and politely. Treat disciples and senior brothers well. I've heard about it too. You don't know them. They are low-blooded veins. My senior brother and I are just disciples of the Qi vein. He kept practicing in the wind. All they can do is listen to rumors, and so it is. Geniuses are truly hard to find. Given my status and position, it was normal not to be able to reach Niu Wendao and the others, but just listen to rumors outside. Changchun and Niu Wendao seemed to have some disagreement. This matter occurred. I haven't heard of any discord between them. About 2 months ago, the two once fought over a spiritual herb. Niu Wendao took the spiritual herb. I heard that Changchun was seriously injured at that time. He threatened to break his horns. And then? Later, I didn't know. I only heard about these things inside the city. I didn't say much. Returning to practice under the old willow tree, Niu Wendao and Changchun had long been at odds, wanting to enslave the ox. When asked for a demon, this was a life-and-death grudge. He just didn't expect the incident to have already spread outside the city. There was news of their discord throughout Zhongyang City. Closed-door Qi training sounds great, but it wouldn't be good for these two geniuses to fight each other. But none of this concerns me. Practice with peace of mind. Hurry to the 8th level of Qi refining. Day after day passed. In the blink of an eye, it has been a month since I arrived at Qingluyuan. I finally broke through the bottleneck. When the time comes, he enters the 8th level of Qi refining. Rich spiritual energy flowed throughout his body, surging into every limb and bone. The body in his mind also grew an inch taller. Not far from my breakthrough, Liu Qing saw it. Heaven rewards the diligent. Congratulations on your great progress in cultivation, young cultivator, though naturally gifted. Cultivation, spiritual power at the 8th level of Qi refining flowed throughout my body. The feeling of just breaking through made me feel exceptionally strong, but after a glance, after his true body, all sensations disappeared. At the 8th level of Qi refining, the longevity technique became even more delicious, if only it had been before. It tastes soft when eaten by myself, but now it has a bit of a crunchy texture and will be kept until evening. When Liu Xian and his sister returned, Liu Qing scolded them again, treating me like a textbook. I never imagined I would one day become someone else myself. As for other people's children, I naturally don't talk much. I went back to my room to rest. I've been at Qingyu Courtyard for a month now, Naichio. Still processing materials. Those 3 pieces were actually very hard, and with special attributes, handling them had to be handled carefully. Dong dong, there was a knock at the door. I opened the door. It was Liu Xian. Liu Xian, on earth, what is going on in the middle of the night? Tomorrow, Niu Wendao will come to Shongyao City. Brother Li is a disciple of Lingshu Cave Heaven, so why not go meet him together? I was angry, not familiar with him, of low status, and wouldn't even see me if I went. I really don't want to meet Niu Wendao right now. He's too popular and can't even get attention, and he's even taking the initiative to get close to him. That was the bone, waist, and bloodline. You're Lingshu #1 genius. Aren't you tempted? If he succeeds and becomes the sect leader in the future, you will rise to great heights as well. The difference is too great. Disciples like me have too many spiritual voids, not worth looking at. I shook my head again. Liu Xian must be out of his mind. The successor to the sect leader, Changchun, is still here. Do you really think you can become the sect leader just by talent? One more thing. Niu Wendao said it was a demon. The human sect had Gu Yao take command. Racial issues meant he was a genius, even if he was a genius. Nor could he serve as sect leader, even if Changchun is completely out of his mind. He stepped down and made way for the worthy to take over. The others wouldn't agree either, seeing that I was completely unmoved. Liu Xian was a bit disappointed. He had no choice but to leave. I originally hoped to rely on my status as a disciple of Lingshu Cave Heaven. Ning Jianyo asked if he could enter the Ox's Eye and fall into the Lingshu Cave Heaven. Then he was no longer an ordinary disciple. Life will get much better. I shook my head and sighed softly. Liu Xian did not cultivate properly. He actually thought of taking shortcuts. The next day, Liu Xian and his sister went out again. I came to practice under the old willow tree. Little friend, I'm going out for a bit. You should focus on your cultivation. Lunch is served on the stove. Trouble to warm it up yourself. Senior, go ahead and get busy. Liu Qing probably didn't trust the siblings, worried they might go straight to Niu Wendao. Forget it. Practice with peace of mind. He looked up at the old willow tree. I remember how hard your cultivation is. Let me help you out too. He recalled the tree waste cultivation method in his mind, recited to the old willow tree. The old willow tree has just begun to awaken its intelligence, yet still does not understand the language, swaying the trunk to express gratitude. At the same time, the old willow tree gathered spiritual energy. Show me your own practice methods. I smiled. No more words. The old willow tree had just awakened its intelligence. His cultivation method was too basic. It doesn't really matter. A clear light shimmered on the ground. Silently and without a sound, a cyan finger emerged from underground. I was startled. This cyan finger was clearly not a human finger. It turned out to be a stone. On its surface, there were intricate patterns. I wiped my index finger, perhaps because of the passage of time. Plus, the old willow absorbed some essence into it, but the patterns on it really caught my attention. It was like some kind of advanced formation. This index finger should be the treasure used to unlock the old willow tree's spiritual crafting. The essence inside became nourishment for the old willow. I gather spiritual energy for the willow tree. Ask about its origin. Do you know where this item came from? The old willow sways gently. A stream of spiritual power merged into my mind. A loud voice flashed through my mind. An ancient aura flowed out. It was like an ancient being revived in his mind. A tall green voice from a tree staff. His whole body looked like a pile of stones. Each stone has delicate patterns. That stone finger was just a pinky finger. Besides the lines on the pinky finger, everything else was indistinct. The old willow only knew it was a stone man, not knowing all the patterns. Stone figures. I shuddered all over. The patterns on his body. Could it be an ancient demon rune? Records of ancient demons in Lingshu Cave Heaven. Inheriting ancient bloodlines. Inside is an ancient divine power. Ancient demon runes are the inheritance hidden within the bloodline. This kind of ancient demon rune. Only when the ancient demon awakens its bloodline. It only emerges when using the power of an ancient bloodline. Rumor has it that cultivators have been found in ancient demonic runes. Comprehend cultivation methods and great divine powers. Unfortunately, there were too few ancient demons. There are no records of ancient demon runes in Lingshu Cave Heaven. Just a few brief mentions. As for Niu Wendao, he is still too young. His cultivation is too shallow. At most, his bloodline could be awakened a little. It was absolutely impossible to trigger the ancient demon runes. By the time he was pondering, it was already noon. I heated up the food and went to the secret room. Finally, 2 yuan were dealt with. There's still 1 piece left to eat. Rock. Senior brother, you've worked hard and took money from the people. Doing things for others. Impeachment and impeachment are arduous. Have you gone out for a walk? Inside the courtyard was a spirit gathering formation. I have been practicing in the monastery all along, and there was some economic gain. You don't focus solely on cultivation. Life is still long. Play more. I didn't answer. My life is long. Longevity clouds are endless. There will be plenty of time to run out later. Now, let's practice first. If you have the ability to protect yourself, then talk about it. Parting ways with Naichio. I came again to the old willow tree. Liu Qing and the others still hadn't returned. One hand pressed against the old willow tree. She gathered spiritual energy for him to help him cultivate flowers. Although the waist and index finger had lost their essence, but it woke me up. I want to leave a seal formation. Can it be like the drummed waist rune? Unfortunately, there was only 1 index finger. If only I had a whole corpse-eating worker for me to study it. Finished cultivating with the willow tree. I also started looking for wood to carve the lines on my index finger, although it was only a corner of the runes covering his entire body. But after all, it was an ancient waist rune. Carving them is much harder than the formations I learned. But with more practice, It's better. I have patience and time. By evening, Liu Qing and Liu Xian finally returned. Liu Xian and the other guy looked clearly unhappy. Liu Qing's face was ashen. I sensibly didn't lean in. Not long after, shouting and cursing came from inside the room, and Liu Qingyu is crying. Fortunately, Liu Qing hadn't forgotten that Nichio was still waiting to eat inside the secret chamber. After delivering the food, I continued my practice. Liu Xian and Liu Qingyu also arrived. Both had handprints on their faces. Clearly, he had been beaten. I still didn't say anything. Reflect on your own conduct and cultivate yourself. All the way until late at night, Liu Qing told them to rest before leaving. I also finished a day of practice, getting ready to return to the room. But then Liu Qingyu's door opened. Liu Qingyu stepped forward. He made a promotion gesture, and walked toward me. This is what you are. Today, I picked the wrong place. He almost couldn't come back. Liu Qingyu sighed. Fortunately, Grandpa arrived just in time and took us away. Didn't he go to seek the ox and ask for the Dao? Wrong place. I grew even more puzzled. Yes, everyone was spreading rumors that Niu Wending would be at Qianlin Inn. Who would have known it was Chang Chun? Luckily, I remember ugliness too much, so they didn't ruin their innocence. I understood. This is the ox-seeking inquiry, and found it on Chang Chun's head. There was already a grudge between the two sides. He shouted loudly in front of Chang Chun. Greetings to Niu Wendao, the great genius. This is like a death sentence. Are Chang Chun's character really that poor? He actually wanted to mess with you. Half of Liu Qingyu's face was indeed beautiful. If only half a face had been seen at that time. It is indeed easy for people to have improper thoughts. But Lingshu Cave Heaven is, after all, a sect for cultivation. Chang Chun was someone who followed Chang Chun's side, named Han Jiuyuan. He really wasn't a good person. Do you know Han Jiuyuan? I've heard of it. From now on, focus on your cultivation and don't provoke them. Lingshu Cave Heaven isn't as good as you imagine. I understand. Originally, Grandpa wanted us to have some safety if we failed into Lingshu Cave Heaven, but it seems we have to go to other sects. Although it wasn't exactly offending Chang Chun, he left a deep impression on Han Jiuyuan's side. If we enter Lingshu Cave Heaven and Niu Wendao doesn't take care of us, life will be very difficult. The area around Zhengyang City is not limited to Lingshu Cave Heaven. There is also the Water Moon Cave Heaven, Qingxian Cave Heaven. Although these two cave realms were somewhat inferior to Lingshu, but the difference isn't that big. Recently, Lingshu Cave Heaven has once again held a 7-day qi refining session in Changchun. It was Ji Yu Yanyo who asked again. The momentum completely covered these two cave realms. With your age and talent, he should have joined the sect early. At that time, the family still had some accumulated wealth. Now Jie has failed. He could only devote himself to the sect. The other cave realms might be more suitable for you. Liu Qingyu opened her head. What else do you want to say? I shook my head. I know what you want to say. It's simply because they think I'm a disciple of Lingshu Cave Heaven. Senior brother is also helping to train the master. We can help you connect with you. Liu Qingyu nodded repeatedly, a look of anticipation on his face. I shook my head. Neither my senior nor I had ever had contact with Chang Chun. Han Jiuyuan had only heard of his name. He often asked his disciples for pills. It is best not to provoke them. Liu Qingyu fell silent. Focus on your cultivation. Cultivation is the top priority. Fighting and killing only affects lifespan. Think about Zhengyang Zhenren's cultivation level tonight. It was gone after just over 200 years. What's so good about fighting and killing? Isn't it better to practice peacefully? Did they really think everyone was a genius like Niu Wendao? I understand. From now on, I will rest peacefully. Liu Qingyu returned to her room. It means you remember my words. As for whether he truly remembered or just brushed it off, it's not something I can control. I glanced at Liu Xian's room. This one didn't sleep either. I've been listening inside the room the whole time. Maybe that old guy Liu Qing hadn't slept either. Returned to his room to rest. The next day, we continued to rest. Liu Xian and Liu Qingyu didn't go out again. Rest in peace. Liu Qing's old face was quite pleased by this, but this relief didn't last long. He only closed the door for 2 or 3 days. Liu Xian couldn't sit still and went out for a stroll. Liu Qingyu managed to stay calm and didn't go out again. 3 days later, I finally transformed, and I found that the wood engraved with ancient demon runes became especially hard, even harder than stone. If you infuse it with spiritual power, its strength rivals that of ordinary flat magic swords. This result makes me very happy. If it was imprinted on his body, then peers of the same rank would never dare to bite him. But this still requires further research. For example, besides being tough, what other characteristics does this ancient demon rune have? I still used the money Nickel Ball gave me, found a blacksmith shop nearby, and rented a shop. I have plenty of training materials in my storage belt. He began to craft simple magical tools. Appearance is not important. Only focus on speed. Even if it was just a lump of iron, it would do. 3 days passed. I imprinted the index finger rune onto an iron plaque. The iron plate is even stronger. Low-grade materials combined with index finger runes are comparable to mid-grade. It was almost a whole grade higher. Just the rune on the man-eating pinky can raise the rank by 1 level. How powerful must those runes covering the man-eating body be? No wonder Ji Yu Yao has a terrifying genius bloodline. Neo asked if he would awaken a body full of runes in the future. How powerful will you be then? He shook his head. Shake your thoughts out. I channeled my spiritual power into the iron token. Rune light up. An ancient aura spread out. My spiritual power was also amplified. My vision blurred. It was as if he saw an ancient, majestic figure recognizing people and nurturing his essence, which was amusing. Let out a thunderous roar. The whole world is shaking. A stripe of lines intertwines. The spiritual power within his body boiled with excitement, drawn by the runes. The pinky finger of his left hand, perceptive, blossomed brilliantly smooth. A heavy aura spread out. The pinky finger of the person reader slowly lowered. Like a mountain, it crashed into the ground and carved a huge crater. Carefully comprehend the characteristics of runes. Solid and substantial, it empowers spiritual power. Able to recognize people and condense runes. I wonder if it can work on me. I pondered. These runes can also be used for chi refining. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to call it a higher level formation. Since following Nichio to refine his chi, I've been thinking about this all along. I have yet to put it into practice. Now, the appearance of the recognition rune has given me hope. Generally, chi refining imprint formations are designed for human cultivators. The material needs to be changed. Refine magical artifacts suitable for zero force operation. And I myself don't need to change. What needs to change is this. Formations and runes become tailored to oneself. But although it's not possible yet, but it allows me to forge even better treasures. I pondered. Anyway, he was just bored. You can reforge the magical artifact. If it weren't for the high-grade magical artifact wasting too much time. I really want to try this index finger rune. Can it enhance the characteristics of high-grade magical tools? If it could be improved. Those mid-grade refining artifacts, wouldn't that be enough to become a top-grade magical artifact? I calmed my mind and focused on forging the magical artifact. He put away the previous mid-grade Dharma piece. Although some materials are wasted, but if the grade can be improved, this bit of waste is worth it. Every day spent at the blacksmith's shop. At noon and dinner, they return to deliver meals and vegetables. Practice at night. My diligence actually inspired Liu Qingyu. As for Liu Xian, still can't hold back. After a few days of cultivation, he had to go out for a whole day of fun. Although Liu Xian played around, but he also promised not to cause trouble. No longer thinking about searching for the ox, he asked, just wandering around and communicating with practitioners. Today's exchange may be quite significant. Fellow Taoists, I'll take my leave now. Liu Qing secretly followed for several days. Only after confirming that Liu Xian was truly like this did he relax. When Liu Qingyu was tired from cultivating, she would follow her out to relax for a day. After all, constant cultivation is indeed dull and tedious. I immerse myself in qi cultivation, studying the essence runes. A mid-grade magical artifact has successfully advanced to a high-grade magical artifact. The low-grade ones also became mid-grade. Every sword became solid and heavy. Ordinary cultivators of the same rank would find it heavy in their hands, but it can also be wielded. Previously, using ordinary wood and stone didn't really feel like it. Now switch to a magical tool to hold it. The sense of weight is more apparent. He spent a month soaking in the blacksmith's shop, completed all the mid to low bottle magic swords he brought. On this day, I returned to Qingyu Courtyard in the evening. As soon as he entered, he heard Liu Xian excitedly and passionately talking about Niu Wendao. Niu Wendao was so formidable. Outside, he consecutively selected young disciples from 3 major families to seize the spiritual herbs. My heart skipped a beat. Why doesn't this bull know how to keep a low profile? Although behind him was Lingshu Dongqian. But the sect leader is from Changchun. Truly a great event will occur. But I really don't have to care. Those 3 great families have occupied Shenyang City for many years. It's also about saving face. This Niu Wendao might very well get into trouble. Brother Li Dao has returned. Let me tell you, Niu Wendao truly looks impressive. The 3 great families were used to running rampant and domineering, encountering resources outside. Basically, they were theirs. Sometimes the spiritual herbs are already in their hands. They even killed and robbed her. This time, Niu Wendao had done a great deed. Yes, I heard that Niu Wendao swept through those disciples on the MTR path. Later, people from the 3 major families came to support him. They wanted to join forces against him. Niu Wendao struck his staff and swept across the area. They defeated more than a dozen of them. They were so frightened they fled in panic. Impressive. These words can be discussed at home, and must not speak recklessly outside. The 3 great families of Shenyang City are too powerful. Grandpa. We understand. Liu Qingyu and Liu Xian quickly replied. I got up to bring Nichio some food. After leaving, they were still talking about Niu Wendao. After Niu Wendao killed them, naturally, he returned to the city. But where to live is unknown. Some say Qianlin. Some even claim to have been invited by the city lord. The city lord hosted a banquet. The city lord has been at odds with the 3 great families for years. At this moment, Niu Wendao stepped forward. Naturally, he wanted to win over Jieli. Liu Qingniangmai saw through it clearly. If only he could pass through Niu Wendao, dragging Lingshu Dongtian into the water. Then the 3 great families are nothing to worry about. The senior sees things clearly. What does the senior think Niu Wendao will choose? No idea. Fei Niu asked, but the best way is to make billions. Joining forces with the city lord to deal with the 3 major families. The only fear is that Niu Wendao was born into a ruthless and unruly world, and might be used by others. He was also afraid he might be too clever on his own. He saw through the city lord's attempt to win him over. Even the city lord has been offended. Grandpa. That Lingshu Cave Heaven will protect him on its own. Lingshu Cave Heaven must be fighting fiercely too. I didn't say anything more. He went back to his room to rest. Changchun and Niu Wendao are like water and fire, and have already become enemies. Niu Wendao was not only about his own master. It really might not be possible to invite any elders or experts, just as Liu Qing had said. Let's see how Niu Wendao chooses. He offended the 3 major families. He killed more than a dozen enemies. This matter is difficult to resolve peacefully. Bai Yuchuan, huh? I whispered in Ninan. I recalled what Niu Wendao had said. Bai Yuchuan wanted Niu Wendao to become the senior brother, competing for the position of sect leader. 30,000 troops assembled and defeated Changchun. Niu Wendao is a genius. The elder's face grew even brighter. Unfortunately, Elder Bai was not as insightful as Liu Qing. Forget it. Starting tomorrow, I'll pay attention. As if he were powerless to help. I had no choice. I focus on my practice. Temper the body. Without the qi and blood pills or flesh nourishment, his body refinement speed slowed down. I estimate progress. If this continues, it will take another 2 months to reach the peak of the 7th level of body refinement. As for refining the qi, there was still some distance to the mid-stage of qi refining 8th level. During the day, I left Aoyanagi in. He didn't go to the blacksmith shop again. Instead, he was going to the taverns and inns within the city. Keep an eye on Niu Wendao's news. Niu Wendao had already become a topic of conversation among cultivators in Shenyang City. It reached a point where everyone knew about it. Last night, Niu Wendao went to the city lord's mansion, but after coming out, she seemed very unhappy. Upon hearing this, my heart skipped a beat. Could Niu Wendao have offended the city lord as well? What kind of armor does this ox have? Or maybe my brain was completely sucked clean by mosquitoes. As for Niu Wendao's exact location, he didn't know. Some say it was inside the city. Some say Niu Wendao left Shenyang City overnight. No one knows exactly where. I visited several locations in the city. He did not find any disciples from Lingshu Dongtian. He could only return to Qingyu Courtyard. Back to Qinglu Yu. The information Liu Xian received was similar to mine. Liu Qingyu resumed her diligent cultivation. He had already understood the importance of spiritual cultivation. Return to guard against cultivation. Tomorrow, I'll continue studying the essence rune. Michio is busy every day, currently unable to consult or research. At this point, it was about how to alter runes, artifacts, and oneself. I feel a bit like Liang Sen forging magical artifacts. Learn about the practitioner's energy circulation route. Thus, they create magical artifacts suitable for cultivators. In that case, the practitioner himself has not changed. It was just a change in the ritual tool. These ancient demon runes condensed onto the ancient demon's body. Ancient demons cannot alter the flow of spiritual power, and studied the runes for recognizing people. The character body of the ancient demon of recognizing people is definitely no weaker than ordinary magical artifacts, suppressing the thoughts in his heart. Practice with peace of mind. The next morning, I got up and continued my practice. Lunch was delivered at noon, so he used the excuse of going to the blacksmith's shop. In fact, he went out to keep an eye on news about Niu Wendao. Niu Wendao lost contact. Even the people around him disappeared without a trace. It was as if they had vanished into thin air. No one knew where Niu Wendao had gone. The three major families were also sending people to search everywhere. Some speculated that it might have been a return to Lingshu Dongtian. Some speculated that he had offended the city lord and was secretly harmed by him. I don't believe in any hidden threats. It would be more accurate if he was secretly harmed by Chang Chun. After all, Niu Wendao was the top genius in Lingshu Cave Heaven. At this point, these people still wouldn't dare to kill him. Even if he caught Niu Wendao and punished him, whether he could kill him in the end still had to ask Lingshu Dongtian. I've been following for half a month but haven't heard any news about Niu Wendao. He could only return and focus on his cultivation. Niu Wendao should be fine. Otherwise, Elder Bai Yu Chuan wouldn't have remained unresponsive for half a month. Calm your mind and cultivate. Bringing meals to Naichio. Naichio had just put down the materials in his hand. Wipe sweat from your forehead. This kind of thing is actually quite difficult to train. Senior brother's skills are superb. Usually, he practiced the master. I guess there's nothing the jockey can do with these three pieces. Thanks to the intense winds and clouds, the methods of refinement and control are extraordinary. Otherwise, I really wouldn't know how to start. I heard you say you rented a blacksmith shop outside. I wonder if there are any difficulties. I encountered some difficulties. Wait until senior brother finishes refining the magical artifact and returns to seek advice. Go ahead and say it. A mere matter of cultivating at the chi refining stage. It shouldn't be much trouble. I decided to take this opportunity. He asked senior brother Naichiong for advice on what he had gained. Here's the situation. I was thinking about how to tailor a magical artifact for people. I also want to tailor a magical artifact for myself. But he didn't know the method of refining. How the formation imprint changes. I thought it was a difficult problem. Custom-made magical tools. The difficulties, or should I look for materials that suit me? Materials, not bad. Generally, magical artifacts are universally used. These three pieces actually have their own attributes. Suitable practitioners are needed. Custom-made magical tools. Almost all of them are actually looking for practitioners suitable for practice. What about formation techniques? I am the material myself. No need to look further. What doubts about the formation could possibly be? These three sword artifacts are all different, but the formation had never changed. My mind suddenly cleared. Sitting in the sword lane said, "Thank you, senior brother, for clearing this up." Changsheng understood, whether it was knives, spears, swords, or wooden corpse pieces. The formation remained the same, unchanged. It's just that the position of the imprint formation varies depending on the body. He only needed to follow his own path to imprint the formation. Why be so polite with me? If there is anything you don't understand in the future, feel free to ask me. I left the secret room, returning to his room to cultivate and study himself. Not long after, I took out my index finger and started studying. He recalled the cannibal shadow he had sensed before. During the cannibalistic battle, runes lit up all over his body. Should I brand my whole body or the parts of myself? As for the issue of switching to a better formation in the future, I'm not worried either. If they could directly replace the branding formation, that would be even better. If not, just destroy it. At worst, the pain lasts a while and you get hurt. Under endless vitality, it quickly recovered. Focus on self-cultivation and self-study. The main body swayed, covered in countless vein-like blood veins. I am in seclusion to cultivate, except for the time when they left the border during meal delivery. They were all locked in their rooms. Liu Qing, grandfather, and grandson didn't disturb me. Liu Qing cooked. Liu Qingyu cultivated. Liu Xian still cultivated for a few days before going out to relax for a day. The technique operated again and again. The body refinement method also began to operate accordingly. I am very aware of my own situation, but it's still better to be cautious. 7 days passed in a row. Only then did I begin to use spiritual power to transform, opening up rune pathways within the body. He also had to brand his index finger with a rune, although the index finger rune was incomplete. But for someone like me with the chi refining mirror, but it is the best. Even the chi vein formation was far inferior to the index finger rune. That heavy and solid feeling is exactly what I want. The blood vessels seemed to come alive, crisscrossing the trunk. A solid, heavy aura spread from his body. The index finger rune was successfully branded. Next came the Xianjin witness. Blood vessels intertwined once again. Spiritual power flowed. A sharp aura of wind radiated out. It was like a magical sword taking shape. His palms transformed into branches. His legs turned into roots. A slightly ancient aura filled the air. Like an ancient demon revived. Fortunately, this aura quickly faded. It didn't alert the three of them. I was immersed in my practice. Spiritual power flowed throughout his body. He transformed himself into that ancient stone figure demon. Of course, I can't become the stone man ancient demon. It was just imprinting the opponent's runes. I stayed in the room for a full 7 days. Only then did he wake up from cultivation. Spiritual power flowed throughout his body. The consumption is quite high. A rune was imprinted. Flowing spiritual power is equivalent to driving a formation. When using magical tools, it is ordinary. But the ancient demon runes were powerful, far beyond ordinary magical instruments. I took out a upper bottle magic sword and tried it out. Indeed, jingle. A voice rang out. There was not a single scar on his body. Tongjia's magical artifacts are beyond his reach. My commotion alerted Liu Qing. I thought someone had broken into the room and attacked me. I quickly explained that I was experimenting with the refining Dharma realm. Index finger rune imprint. My body refinement has reached a new level. It felt like a sense of distance flowed through his entire body. Early stage of body refining 8th level. The only thing to worry about is the excessive consumption. But fortunately, he didn't need to do much himself. Moreover, it can use the sealing weaving technique to seal spiritual power. Seal enough spiritual power within your body. You need to use real means to bring it out. Then there's no need to worry about consumption. When I calm my mind, I must close the door. Besides delivering meals, he was also storing spiritual power. It took 3 days to complete. He stored spiritual power in every part of his body. Only then did it stop. Right now, he should be no weaker than an ordinary ancient demon, but you have to verify it to know. Niu Wendao, this ancient demon, could kill enemies instantly. He didn't take Qi refining level 9 seriously at all. He left the room to catch a breath. I glanced at the old willow tree. When the opportunity arises, I'll also imprint runes on him. But the old willow tree is still too weak right now. He couldn't withstand the rune imprint. He had just stepped onto the path of cultivation. Old willow could barely be considered at Qi refining level 1 and stage 7. Any random mortal could be chopped down. Saying that a 7 out on the first floor is just a setup. Liu Xian and Liu Qing were both absent. Only Liu Qingyu was cultivating in the courtyard. Daoist Qingyu. Senior Liu also went out. Yes. They went to see Niu Wendao sweeping through Zhongtai City's younger generation. Niu Wendao swept through the younger generation of the Central Great Wall. What exactly happened? It's been a while since you went into seclusion. The city lord's mansion and the 3 major families lost quite a few disciples again. It was all Niu Wendao who killed them. Rumors spread outside. Niu Wendao disdained joining forces with the city lord, mocking the city lord's delusional wishful thinking. She still wanted to join forces with him. This is true. Although Niu Wendao is a demon, there are many things I don't understand. But this kind of baseless reason, adding an enemy to yourself, it probably won't dry. He offended the 3 major families. He offended the city lord again. This caused the major forces in Zhongyang City. He offended them all, not to mention Niu Wendao. Even if his master Bai Yuchuan had come, he wouldn't dare do that. Later, Niu Wendao appeared and denied all this. He said the city lord sent people to ambush him. He was also injured. He had been recovering from his injuries. Now it's really hard to tell who's real and who's fake. Lingshu Cave Heaven is not allowed to be visited. They encountered Chang Chun. If it weren't for the birthmark on his face, he wouldn't have been able to keep his innocence. Liu Xian still wanted to join Niu Wendao. But Niu Wendao was also constantly surrounded by trouble. If he were to fall into Lingshu Cave Heaven, I guess one day I don't even know how it died. I'm glad I went to Chimai with Naichio. He did not stay with Lin Jianfeng. Now, Lin Jianfeng is almost divided into 2 camps. The Changchun branch, Niu Wendao faction. Head-to-head clashes are naturally the strongest among Niu Wendao fans. But let's talk about his brains and hidden tricks. Definitely Changchun is strong. Niu Wendao was a young man this time when dealing with China tobacco. Could it be inside the city? Of course not. Niu Wendao fought them outside the city. Lingshu Winter also helps machine experts come to make appointments. No help machines are allowed to participate. If there is no support machine, Niu Wen said he should be able to walk, I suppose. Specifically, I'm going to join the fun too. Outside the North City Gate. Why not take me along? You should rest well. Senior brother is still practicing Qi. They also need someone to guard here. I'll come back at mealtime. I finished speaking. After leaving Qingyu courtyard, he took out a black coat from his storage belt and put it on. Head to the North City Gate. The North City Gate walls were already filled with cultivators. Even the city gate was packed with people. These people really love to join the fun. Likes watching people fight. I struggled to squeeze through the crowd and climb the city wall. The surrounding cultivators looked displeased. I showed my token without hesitation. Disciple of Lingshu Cave Heaven. The cultivators around instantly wore smiles. Make room for me. The great battle beneath the city walls had already begun. Nearly 100 Qi refining meditation practitioners were fighting a green ox. The blue ox radiated dazzling golden light all over its body, and stood upright. The dual body had already transformed into 2 hands, gripping an iron rod and sweeping across number 4. In the end, it cannot transform into its original form. Only parts of the body can be changed. Qi refining cultivators couldn't choose a formation to limit Niu Wendao's strength. Unfortunately, this formation was still somewhat lacking for Niu Wendao. That iron rod swept across his shoulder, busy and bustling. Nearby cultivators were injured if they touched them, and dared not receive him. I was startled to see this. Half of these cultivators are Qi practitioners. There were also 7 or 8 people with 9 layers of top seals. Niu Wendao alone claimed all 100 cultivators, still holding the upper hand. Truly worthy of being a bone, waist, and bloodline. Everyone, don't be impulsive. No matter how strong Niu Wendao was, there are also times when you run out of energy. We rely on formations. Just wear down his strength. Yes, consume his spiritual power. Unfortunately, he could keep fighting endlessly. Despicable and shameless things. Niu Wendao flew into a rage. He hadn't expected this group to be so scheming. The iron rod in his hand glowed with a dazzling light. Rushing quickly toward the firstborn cultivator, he leapt high and swung his staff down with a mixed force. The cultivator's expression changed. He quickly retreated. A golden barrier lit up within his body. Hold fast to yourself. For a moment, the shockwaves surged. Thick smoke obscured the view. All the cultivators around were sent flying first, but Niu Wendao also retreated. The smoke and dust dispersed. The air wave disappeared. The golden barrier still protected the cultivator. Without this protective item, I will surely execute you, Niu Wendao said through gritted teeth. The cultivator sneered. You don't have any protective items tattooed by the sect. Why not just lose it? I also lost it. So how about continuing to fight? Your despicability truly exceeds my expectations. If I lose it, would there be a case that ambushed and killed me? By then, the person would not be found. Don't say such things. They didn't dare to ask about the ox, but he still dared to launch a sneak attack and deal heavy damage. As long as Niu Wendao was severely wounded, there will always be assassins who come to kill him. For example, Changchun, standing on the city wall. I breathed a sigh of relief upon hearing this. Looks like Niu Wendao isn't completely foolish yet. If you really give up the protective treasure, that would mean he was dead stupid. Although Niu Wendao had the upper hand, but these people also possess protective treasures. For a while, the situation was deadlocked. No one can defeat the other. The cultivators fully adopted the method of entanglement. He wanted to wear down his strength. Niu Wendao clearly saw through their plan. His heart grew anxious. The iron staff magical weapon swung repeatedly. The staff aura grew stronger and stronger. He rolled 36 in one go. The sound of gas explosions rang out continuously. Niu Wendao was gasping heavily, but still couldn't break through the defense. You are truly despicable. How could you be so base? Your beef kidney only knows brute strength. A waste is a waste. Brute strength covered his skin. Instead, they blame us for being despicable. The cultivators all spoke up, disturbing his mind. A fierce glint flashed in Niu Wendao's eyes. Twin bodies stepped forward. The ground exploded. Morning waves soared. A powerful aura spread out. Ancient aura fluctuated. The power to coax him soared into the sky. Like the ancient jungle event revived from ancient times, Niu Wendao's muscles bulged all over. His eyes blazed with blood-red light. Behind him appeared a figure with a light, flowing whisker. The Bone Demon bloodline was fighting for his life. It stirs the bloodline. The support cultivators spoke solemnly. The Bone Demon's bloodline surged. Niu Wendao's aura nearly doubled, directly approaching the support strike realm. Of course, it's just a direct approach. Unable to cross this limit. Block it. it was just chi refining. His bloodline wouldn't revive for long. A cultivator at the peak of the 9th level of chi refining shouted loudly. His spiritual power was pushed to the limit. The formation operated. The ground flew like a muddy pool. Limit the Neo Wen Dodo width. Numerous cultivators formed a formation. Spiritual power converged into one. At the same time, jade and stone swords are raised. Neo Wen said, an iron rod stretches across the sky. Spiritual energy surged through his body like arcs of electricity. Suddenly, he struck with force. Break it for me. A blow that ignites the bloodline. The surging ground stopped. A terrifying power erupted from Neo Wendao as the center. Dozens of sword beams instantly shattered. One cultivator instantly spat out blood and flew out. The expressions of those peak 9th level chi refining cultivators also changed. His figure slipped away. The ground was collapsed and dangerous. The air waves crashed against the plank fish rice. One by one, the cultivators stared at their own barriers in disbelief. The barrier remains, but there was a faint tear mark. There was also a tiny opening.